And we're live. Welcome, everyone, to our Sunday live show instead of our Tuesday live show. But this is a special one, so I'll save the intro for a second here. First, I want to thank our guests from last show, Peter Pacman and Slabby Sosa from the RIP Pack Slab crew. It was awesome to hear their passion and enthusiasm and, of course, the historical significance of what they do and how they really push the whole diversity, inclusivity angle of collecting. They make music about trading cards. I know they were in Dallas this past, actually, I think the show's still happening. And I'm sure they'll tell us all about that on their way back. So Kent, why don't you do the honors to introduce our really cool guest?
Thanks, Amit. We are truly honored by the presence of tonight's guest, a stalwart broadcast journalist and celebrated author. He is an advocate for mental health. As you know, May is Mental Health Month. And we'll delve into that as we get into more of the show tonight. As you can see, Amit is pulling out all the books that our special guest for tonight is going to be talking about. So without further ado, please welcome Ken Reid to the show.
Thanks, boys. Amit, why didn't you bring those books to my house? I could have signed them for you when you dropped off my presents.
That's a good point.
Yeah, Neil, your brother Neil didn't ever bring those in to get them signed for you? What a jerk.
I know. I'm going to blame him. I'm going to blame him for everything. But I do have this. I'll just show you this. I have the advanced reader copy of this one.
Oh. So that means you got a free copy. That's good. For those of you watching who don't know, those are usually only sent out to the media. So that means to me that your brother Neil gave you that, or Neil stole it from Sportsnet to give it to you. Okay, well, you bought one. That's fine.
I got one, and there's this one here we forgot.
Oh, the Eddie Shack one, yeah. Well, if you didn't buy that the one night only, I wouldn't have got the 50 cents royalties off it. So thanks for buying it, buddy.
Well, I've got 4 here, so you got.
Jeez, I've made a toonie off of you. That's awesome. Thanks for supporting my writing, though. I really appreciate it. That's awesome. It takes effort in 2021 for someone to buy a book and sit down and read a book. So anyone who takes the time to sit down and read a book, I salute you, because we live in this instant world of looking at your stupid phone with its stupid content. And I thank you for writing, and pardon me for reading a book. More people should do it. Read a book.
Well, it's crazy. Now that I'm working from home,
I
have to find a place to commute to read more.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's funny because I'm like a lot of people, the only time I listen to the radio or a podcast is if I'm driving somewhere and I have no long drives. And I think like a lot of people, their radio time is down, and for people who sit on the train, their reading time is down for sure.
I'm sure the stress level. Well, actually, that's debated. We'll not get into that because I'm sure stress.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Ken, have you read stuff on a tablet?
A book on a tablet?
Yeah.
No, it's too difficult to do on the toilet, so I don't do that.
Good answer.
Yeah, I'm not bringing my tablet in the bathroom. No, I like books old school, man. The hardcover. I just like the feel of a book. It's funny too. I have a digital subscription to the Toronto Star, and I read that all the time. But there's something about sitting down with an actual paper that I enjoy, and I know that sounds so strange to any younger viewers, but you guys know what I'm talking about.
I like the Saturday Star, which was so thick.
So
right,
thick,
and then by the time you got through it, your fingers were black or blue. It was blue,
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Well, my thing now is I found it way easier then to follow stats than I do now, because now you have to take the time to go to the site to look it up. Then it was just part of the paper, right? You knew how many games the Jays wrote. You knew how many points Draisaitl had. You know who the top 10 guys in the league were at all times almost. Now, I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm not internet. Obviously, I know how to get the stats, but there's something just really comforting about just looking at it in a paper back in the day.
I think the other neat thing you don't get without the paper, or maybe I don't because I don't read the paper that much anymore, you get a real feel for the people writing the stories. So I've kind of lost that touch.
Yeah, like the columnists back in the day, they were just as big stars as the guy who played the game, like everybody, the columnists, everybody knew Red Fisher, Coast to Coast, the great writer out of Montreal. Everybody knew Red Fisher, but I mean, I still love reading the columnists, but yeah, it's a lot different now. The newspaper stash have shrunken. I mean, half of the guys are all working for us at Sportsnet, so we get that going for us.
That's awesome. So we got you on tonight. We're going to ask you a pile of questions. So
Yeah.
hopefully you're cool with all these different questions. We're going to crack some packs.
Have at her. Yeah. Bowman 91. Yeah,
91 Bowman. So
thanks for this. I love my junk wax. So thanks, Amit.
This is a courtesy of our buddy Scott at Stadium Sports Cards who pulled this through for me.
Thank you, Scott.
So Kent, why don't you start off today instead of me like last time?
Sure. Ken, in your youth, did you collect hockey cards? And if so, at what age did you get into collecting?
Oh yeah, I was a massive hockey card geek, and I think I'm just like everybody else. They were always there, like you didn't really. I think the first packs I can recall opening were 79-80 Gretzky year because they were blue. I just remember the skate on the back standing out to me. So I'm assuming at that point my dad probably brought me home a couple packs, right? They were a quarter then or 20 cents, whatever they were. And yeah, I always collected hockey cards. I grew up in an area where the nearest NHL team was, 12 to 14 hour drive away. So the only way you had a connection to hockey was either through, Hockey News, Hockey Digest, the one game on Saturday night, or hockey cards. So for me, the closest connection to the NHL was hockey cards. And that was the beauty of it, is it was a quarter. So then as I got older, I started collecting more and more, bought more and more. You'd get your allowance, you'd go to a junior C game, you'd buy some hockey cards. 83, 84, I remember collecting just tons of those. And then my mother brought home a price guide. It would have been spring training, either 86 or 87. It was for baseball cards. So I started hoarding tons of baseball cards and tons of hockey cards as well. Because, you figure, okay, if the baseball ones are worth something. So I became a serious, what you would call collector, like all of us are, in about 87. I mean, and then, you're going back. You're going through all your cards. You're going, oh, that's an Yzerman rookie. Whereas before it was just a card you had of Steve Yzerman before you realized what a rookie card was. And I remember putting my Wayne Gretzky's in Ziploc bags to keep them in good condition. They didn't really keep well in the Ziploc bags. Now that I look back at them, the original ones I have, but I still have tons of, I guess, what would be my original cards from when I was a kid. And yeah, collected hard starting in 87 and got in kind of before the boom. The boom was 90. So by the time the boom rolled around in 90, I'm 15 years old, and I was setting up at shows in Halifax and
no kidding,
around Nova Scotia. My brother and I even had our own business cards, and I had some friends who'd work at Sobeys or work at McDonald's, and I didn't really have a job, but I'd go down and sell cards at a show one Saturday a month and walk out with $1,000 cash. And I thought, well, I'm making more money than they are, and I'm having more fun, and I'm spending even more on, stuff I want. And I was basically just selling my doubles too, which is what made it a lot of fun. And like a lot of guys, after high school, what was it I discovered? Oh, yeah, girls. So I gave up collecting for a while. And then as I got older, things got more nostalgic. And I probably got back into it again seriously probably 12, 13 years ago. So, once I settled down and found my home here in Toronto and, I moved up stuff from my dad's place, and I was like, oh, yeah, that was fun. And going to the expo 10 years ago, it was awesome because you could get anything you want and you didn't kind of have to pay through the nose for it. And I'm very excited for when the next one happens, but I almost live in fear because I don't think I'll want to buy anything. It'll be unaffordable, So that's my collecting story. Short question.
Did you still have your original Gretzky's?
You know what? Here's the thing. I didn't get an original Gretzky as a kid until I was around 13, 14 years old. Oh. So in those packs I opened in 79, I didn't get a Gretzky. But my mom came home from an auction with a box of cards I guess I'd be 13 years old. And my brother and I were like, oh God, 79 80s, blue ones, Gretzky's rookie year. And we rifled through and there it was, the Gretzky. And then we went through the rest. There was only one Gretzky, so we both grabbed it. We both wanted it. And we looked at each other, and it was just like Kordic and Jay Miller back in the day. We just started dropping the gloves, fighting over the Gretzky. Mom was like, oh, share it. So to this day, that Wayne Gretzky resides up in my room, and my brother and I do share it. I have full custody. He lives in my house. But that would be my first Wayne Gretzky rookie I ever had. I still have it, yeah.
You've got some Nova Scotia fans here. Some Nova Scotia Halifax Forum NPC shows is what he was saying.
Okay, yeah. So I would have been in the Forum Annex back in the day doing my shows. The promoter, I remember his name very well. His name was Troy Martin. He was probably 22. I thought he was 58, but he was a really nice guy. When you're young, everybody seems old, but Troy was a really nice guy. And I remember just how cool it was because, you know, they had the little program made up, and my name was in the program, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, I'm an East Coaster too. I'm sure Neil has told you from
Oh
Newfoundland.
yeah,
So.
yeah, The Rock.
Yeah, man. So we have. This is why we're so likable.
Like, exactly. It's pure charisma. It's easy charisma, meat. There's nothing to it, right?
It's in the water.
Oh, there you go. 3-1 Oilers. See, I can multitask as a sportscaster. I'm keeping my eye on the games that Cassian scored, by the way. It's first for the playoffs. And I'm talking to you guys. It's funny. I've been watching games with my son here in the basement and watching playoffs. And then we'll have the Jays on the tablet and I'll be watching both. And he's quite amazed that I can watch two things at once. And I tell him at work, I usually have 4 or 5 games up at once. So this is easy.
I actually have it up too. So
yeah, there you go.
Dude, the Jays are struggling, man. They're struggling closing out games.
Who's that? Oh my God. Today that was like watching a little league game, all those walks and for runs. It was embarrassing. It was bad, but you know what? Long season, things happen.
How far are we in? 20 games? No. What are we in?
No.
40
Yeah,
games.
about that,
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 40, 45 games, yeah. Well, 45, I think they're 23 and 22 if I'm right.
Close to 500 again, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. 45 games in, so a quarter of the way through the sched. And baseball fans will still go, oh, it's early, like what I did. And I hate that.
I'm sweating already just thinking about that.
There you go.
So let's say hi to some people who
Go for it.
tuned in. So Jeff McMahon, hello. Yannick, say hello to you too. Bobby Burrell, hobby historian himself, is here. He bought your Eddie Shack book. So
thank you.
There. Dennis, who shows up every week. So thank you for coming as well. We got Amish Dave. Yes, it's not a Tuesday night. We wanted to make sure we got Ken on, so we decided to do it live. This is unscripted, by the way. No rehearsal, no practice.
Amish Dave, a big follower of the calendar. This isn't Tuesday night. Way to go, Amish Dave.
We got our buddy JR from, he wants the Belford out of our packs, but he's from out west, so he's checking in tonight. And, of course, Nova Scotia, Mike J. Simon here as well.
Amen.
Cool. So, sorry, Kent, I interrupted you. I
No, I was going to say, so we all three of us agreed to open packs live. So why don't we just open a couple of packs and see how we make out, and then we'll get on with more questions. We can.
Sure. So these are 91 Bowman. And Amit, you think there's foil in here? I don't think there's foil in here from my memory.
I don't know what's in here. All I wanted to do was, I
don't remember either, but we'll
Hasek rookie. I know that. I'm pretty sure there's a Dominic Hasek rookie.
So this is the idea. You crack the pack, and you can tell us a cool story or a factoid, since you have all the stats in your head.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Grain man. Okay, you going first, Kent?
Sure.
Hey, everybody.
All right.
I like the feel of these cards. They feel.
Oh, they're all flipped around here. Oh. They're not in any particular. Oh, I don't think Amit lied. There is a foil one in here.
Amit, way to go, buddy.
Really?
So we got Robert Reichel.
Okay.
Unfortunately, my camera's not going to focus too well. Who is that?
Dale Ray.
Dale Ray, yes, correct.
The Razor, former Nova Scotia Oiler. Here we go.
Antonelli Semenov.
Okay.
Semenov.
That went too well.
Mark Hunter.
Okay.
There's a name there.
Yeah, the Hunters, yeah.
Oh, Derek King from the Isles. Dave Chizowski. Isles again. Hey, Glenn Anderson from the Oilers.
Okay. First Hall of Famer. There we go.
Hey, Bill Ranford from the Oilers.
There you go. Coming off a cup. See, those are good cards to get in 91. Oh, my God. Is that Craig Simpson?
No, it's Chris Joseph.
Okay, yeah, okay. I thought it was Craig at the visor.
So this is the foil one. So I don't know if you can see that foil. It's got Stanley Cup foil on top there.
Oh, okay, cool. That's when the North Stars went on that weird run, eh? And then Pittsburgh just walked through them in 91.
Eddie O,
there you go.
As a jack.
Actually, that team is a permanent highlight reel, right? Isn't that the year that Lemieux went around all around?
Still a bugle. Yeah, exactly. The Rats. Oh, no, that's Keith Acton. Woody. Keith Acton, yeah.
Stefan LeBeau. Wow.
Oh, sniper. He got like 60 goals in the American League one year.
And then Pelly Eklund.
Okay. Meat, you want to rip open your pack of meat?
Yeah, so I got mine open already. So I got Laurie Boschman.
Okay. Hey, I used to play hockey with Laurie Boschman in Ottawa. He skated with us in the media. He can still fly.
Oh, yeah?
Really?
Well, as of 18 years ago, yeah. Shell had the best bucket, eh? He had a good bucket.
He has a great name, too. And then we also have Dino Cicerelli.
Oh,
so that was a name.
My funniest story I remember about him was I don't know if you ever meet him, he might hate me, but he got arrested. He lived in Sarnia, and I think he got arrested for walking to get a newspaper naked.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't remember that story at all.
I'm sure he would need to bring that up.
Yeah. Mike Krushelnicki, Leafs.
What a nice guy. Cruiser's a beauty.
And of course, Paul Coffey.
Yeah.
Oh, another nice guy.
And then Everett Sanapass.
Oh, New Brunswick. World Juniors punch up in Piastani, 1987, and a Halifax Citadel.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
There we go. Ron
Hextall?
Hextall.
Oh, there you go. Hacking away.
Trottier.
World's nicest man. Love him. Just Scotiabank Hockey Day in Canada every year with us. Beauty guy.
Mark Janssens.
Okay. Janssens was a big dude, if I recall.
Cam Neely, I loved him.
Oh,
loved him,
man. I didn't like him. I was a diehard Habs fan. I hated Cam Neely. But now I know how awesome he was. So
Brian Hayward.
Brian Hayward, great broadcaster now.
Oh, Mike Ricci.
Oh, the ultimate hockey hair, right?
Yeah.
Everyone loves Mike Ricci.
And the teeth. He had the teeth.
Yeah, exactly. Or the lack thereof.
Charlie Huddy.
Behind the bench for Winnipeg tonight. There
Yep.
you go. He's busy working.
And then Jeff Brown.
Jeff
Ken,
Brown.
is it true that when you're on the East Coast, you're either a Habs fan or a Leaf fan?
Pretty much, yeah. There's a couple Boston, some Detroit sprinkled in, but yeah, it's pretty much Habs Leaf. Like my hometown right now, if you were allowed in the bars, it'd be fight night in Pictou, Nova Scotia. Like the boys would just be giving her. I'm sure they're still giving her.
At the lower deck?
No, at the tavern in Pictou. Like this is what I love about this series, and people who live in cities and never left the city won't understand this. Tons of small towns in Canada are divided right down the middle, like Montreal,
Right.
Toronto. So it's on. All right, let's do it.
Go ahead.
Here's my pack of 91 Bowman. This will not make me rich, but that's not the point. Appreciate the fun. All right. These are kind of all mixed, aren't they?
Yeah, they're all flipped.
Oh, there is foil in here. Hat trick, Brett Hall.
There you go.
Brett Hall, never heard of him. Darren Turcotte coaches university hockey in North Bay, I believe now. He was a sniper for the Rangers. Sylvain Cote, the Whale. Second Hall of Famer of the pack, Peter Stastny. There's no more Canadian name than Gord Murphy. The great Claude Lemieux. Todd Gill, some sweet hair, love that bucket. The off-traded Brent Ashton. The super tough Jay Miller. I referred to Jay Miller, didn't I, in my Wayne Gretzky story? There you go. Oh, you would have been styling in 91 if you pulled a Sergei Fedorov, right? If you're a kid,
That's true.
This is going right in the case, and you're putting like $2 on it back in the day. Easy. Gary Nyland. Strange Gary Nyland story. I believe the first ever free agent to sign a contract because he went from the Leafs to the Chicago Blackhawks, and there had to be compensation, and they sent a player back. And that's why one of his hockey cards was airbrushed. I know that from writing one of my book, Hockey Card Stories, available in stores now. Roger Johansson, can't say I'm familiar with that name. Ken Danico, broadcaster, and Craig Janney. There you go. So that wasn't a bad pack. Got a Brett Hall with some foil on it, boys. There you go.
Awesome.
Fedorov would have been the big deal back in the day for sure.
So we got lots of packs to go through. We want to. A lot of people may enjoy this, but we have some questions for you as well from the crowd here, which we'll be getting to. So let's see. Bobby basically said, if you see a Gretzky rookie, it's been resealed. That is very true.
Yeah, in the wrong pack too. Yeah.
Someone's asking if Hockey Card Stories 3 will be coming out.
If you can find me a huge bonus to write it, yes, but most likely no.
Okay, there you go. And then our good buddy Pete from out west, Rip Pack Slab. Hey man, thanks for taking out the show. And then we got some more questions. So, Go ahead, Kent.
Sure. So, being a native Blue Noser, where you grew up in Pictou, did you have a lot of opportunity to try and find like packs and stuff, or was it harder because the community was smaller?
Yeah, I mean, when I grew up, it was just you bought them at the Bob Naylor store for $0.25.
Bob Naylor.
Yeah, Bob Naylor. I still remember. Yeah, Bob was awesome. So you bought them at the convenience store. You bought your OPG, and then in the summer you bought your OPG baseball. When the boom came, you could head like, I mean, there was at one point 2 or 3 card stores in Pictou County, which is crazy. There's 40,000 people there. I worked in a card store for my grade 12 year, so we had as much trouble finding Upper Deck French as anybody else. But you know, that became plentiful years later. But yeah, it was crazy. It was like a North America wide thing. So yeah, cards were nuts when I grew up. It was nuts. Everybody had them, but it was a ton of fun. It was so many great memories.
So from your youth and then towards your broadcasting career, at what point did you know you wanted to get into broadcast journalism?
Probably around 8, 9 years old. I got cut from a novice hockey team in Pictou, and I was bummed. And I said to I remember talking to my dad, "What am I going to do? What am I going to do?" Because my lifelong plan to that point was to make the NHL, and at that point, I realized I wasn't going to make the NHL. I wasn't good enough. He's like, "Oh, the broadcasters get to go to the games for free." Ding. So then I wanted to be a broadcaster, much to my father's detriment, I'm sure, because he's the local doctor, smart guy, and all the other doctors' kids in town were my age. His dad and his med school buddies had came and opened a clinic in Pictou in the early 70s, and all the other kids got these great grades, and then there was little Kenny Reid, and it was always, "What's wrong with your kid?" And I was like, and Dad would, "You don't realize your potential," and I would just say, "I don't care. I don't need to know math. I don't need to know science. I want to be a broadcaster. I want to be a play-by-play guy." So I didn't take physics. I didn't take chemistry. I grew up grade 12 biology. Just squeezed by, but had a great passion for what I did. If you put a subject in front of me where I cared about it, I always liked history and I liked English, but sciences I could care less because I know I wouldn't need them. So, suck on that science. So yeah, I knew what I wanted to do from a very early age, which was nice because, you know, everybody remembers their buddies who were kids who didn't know what to do, and it seemed like this great struggle, but I never had that struggle.
Awesome.
That's actually really rare, actually. That's very rare. Yes.
Yeah, and especially to kind of set your sights on something that's kind of no one thinks you can do. Like if you're a kid and you tell somebody you want to do something realistic, right? I want to be a dentist, or I want to be a lawyer, or I want to be a mechanic, or I want to be a farmer. They say, "Okay, work hard, study hard." And you say, "I want to be a national sports broadcaster." They say, "Well, there's only 3 or 4 people who get to do that, and those jobs are rare. You got to do something realistic." And I was just kind of like, "No, I think this is what I'm going to do." So just went for it.
You achieved your dream, man. That's
absolutely
kudos to you.
Living the dream right here in my basement, baby. Yeah, I did. You know what? Sometimes you got to sit back and go, you know what, Amit? I did get lucky because it's a really, as you know, your brother's in it. It's a really competitive business. It's not easy, but I worked hard, and I'm very, very lucky, and I really love it. When the light goes on, I love doing what I do. So I just got home from a shift. I got home at 7:30. I was joking before we went on. I should have kept my makeup on because I look better. But I love what I do. So yeah, I'm very, very, very blessed, and hopefully I can do it.
Does it seem
at least another 10 years?
Does it seem a little surreal for you now, Ken, that you're at where you're at now?
It did for a while. When I first started at Sportsnet,
right?
I've been in the business since '97, but when I first got to Sportsnet, I was like, "Oh my God, I made it! I'm at a network." Because I was doing local news, and coming up on sports, weather's next, and they're like, "Weather needs 30 more seconds," and you're like, ugh. So then when I got to Sportsnet, Doug McLean's walking around and Kipper's walking around. There's all these guys on TV who you watched. It was a little intimidating, but then after a while you realize, okay, I'm here. They hired me for a reason. Just do your job. So I still look at it with that childlike quality of this is awesome. But Don Cherry knows my name, and when he walked by, "Hey, Ken," I'm like, "Oh my God." And Ron McLean knows my name. I'm still like, "Oh my God." Stephen Brunt knows my name. So that's still cool, but at the same point in time, you have to realize, okay, I'm here for a reason. I'm sure it's the same thing when a guy makes it to the NHL. He probably goes to the face-off dot. He's like, "Oh my God, Sidney Crosby's across from me." But then after a while, you got to realize, okay, win the face-off. I'm here for a reason. So yeah.
What you reminded me of? It's escaping me the name, but I think it was
Brad Pitt.
No, it wasn't Brad Pitt, but it might be
George Clooney.
Could be a close relationship. But it reminded me. I'll just let you keep going there, Ken.
Yeah, that's all the A-listers I know. Yeah,
I was thinking about Global News, was it? And it was Mark Hebster.
Yeah, Hebster. Yeah, I know Mark.
What was the name of his highlight reel?
Sportsline back in the day.
Sportsline, but he used to have the Fight
The
of the
Hebsey
Night,
Award, Hebsey Award,
right?
wasn't it?
The Hebsies. Yeah, Mark
Hebsey.
and Jim Taddy had Sportsline going back in the day.
Where is he now?
He actually hosts a podcast. It's pretty good. It's called Hebsey on Sports. It comes out on Fridays. He was at CHCH in Hamilton till they did their cuts a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But he's got a podcast now, Hebsey on Sports. It's good. I recommend it.
Okay, I'll definitely have to check that out. Thanks for that little tidbit.
Mm-hmm.
So
And he does a lot of talk on sports media, which is interesting coming from a guy who was in the business.
Oh, cool.
and he made it fun. That's why I remember him, because he made
Exactly. Too many guys in our business think it's like, oh, coming up tonight, the Leafs, and I'm like, it's not that serious, guys. Like people in our business need to remember they turn to us because they don't want to deal with the other crap. So I don't take myself too seriously, but when the time comes, you gotta, when stuff goes down, you gotta buckle up.
Sure.
But not 24/7. So
Right.
I mean, I get to watch sports for a living, for freak's sakes,
Do you have like moments where it's like super serious? Like what? Give me.
Oh yeah. I mean, geez, tons.
Really?
Tons. Oh, I mean, God forbid somebody dies.
Yes.
Something
Okay.
awful happens. I mean, look at that. What happened the other night with Tavares? You can't be joking about that. I've come up like with updates talking about people dying and or somebody's gravely injured or something happens. Like the real world will interfere into sports, and that's when the journalist in you has to come out, right?
Yeah.
And not everything's a blooper highlight reel, but you got to take the time to do both. Like I'm in sports because I love it. It's fun. I'm obsessed with it, but we got to deal with serious stuff too. So yeah, and I like to think I know I can handle that because I've done it enough. But yeah, I mean, nobody goes into work hoping something bad happens, but every once in a while, something bad happens. Yeah.
So actually, there's a question that just came to the top of my head. I'm going to go off script here a bit, but when you're doing these live shows, I noticed that you guys don't say and and you don't have these pause words. What's the trick?
The best trick I ever got taught was from one of my university professors, and a guy went up and he did his presentation. He was going he goes, close your mouth, think in your head. He goes, when you say it's thinking out loud. And I thought that was the best piece of advice I've ever heard. You still hear a lot of broadcasters, and it's very obvious, but my motto is think with your mouth shut. thinking out loud. Don't think out loud. Plus teleprompters help. But there's tons of times we don't have a teleprompter and we're just going off the cuff. So remember that, guys, are thinking out loud. So I bet you guys can get through the whole rest of this podcast without saying or because now you know the trick. But that is one of the best pieces of advice I've ever gotten as a broadcaster. Think with your mouth shut.
Usually what I do is Kent and I just pass the question to each other so that doesn't happen. So
that's a veteran move too. And always rely on your co-anchor. See, that's like you guys are like Ivanka and I. Just pass the buck.
There you go.
So speaking of broadcasts, I just did it again. Oh, well, whatever.
Oh, you did. You're not getting paid. It's fine.
No, this is for fun. Your career taking you all over Canada, and I wanted to ask you a question like, what's it like for a guy from down east working all across the country? What have you learned, and what have you taken away across your journey?
Yeah, I guess I've worked in Halifax, Dartmouth, Calgary, Ottawa, and Edmonton. What have I learned? I learned that people want their sports, for the most part, just to be fun. And there's not as many hardcore, serious people as you think. And if you screw up, it's not the end of the world. Sports really, and I've learned in any town I've worked in, sports resonates when the non-sports fan gets into it. Like, say if the Leafs were to go on to a run, my mom would talk about it. That means sports resonates. When the Jays run their run in 15 and 16, my mom was talking about it. That means sports resonates. I learned that people are pretty friendly wherever you go, too, which is awesome. One of the great things about Sportsnet is we do Scotiabank Hockey Day in Canada every year, and I've gotten to go to Newfoundland, to Yellowknife, to Kenora, to all kinds of different places. And people, honestly, they just want to have a good time, and they love the game of hockey just because it kind of makes them feel part of something. And I guess one thing I've learned from doing sports over the years is people just want to feel a part of something. And maybe that's what sports is all about on some deep level that I can't really understand until you just asked me, because I never really thought about it before. for. And the other thing I've learned is people in the media really like free stuff and free food because they will do anything for free stuff and free food.
Well, you know what? Being from the East Coast, we all like free stuff. Free food.
We do, don't we?
Yeah,
exactly. And Newfoundlanders, man, they're the best. Their guys are so nice. And another thing I've learned, I've never met a bad person from Saskatchewan. I don't know what it is. Good dudes.
Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan, I'm serious. Good dudes, good dudettes. There you go.
I just learned how to say it properly about a year ago. A friend of mine.
Well, I was when I went to working in Edmonton, I pronounced something. I had to say Saskatchewan or off-rise, and I said Saskatchewan, like making fun of the slap shot lady when she's like, and if I can read that quite correctly, hails from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. And when we go to the break, the old news anchor goes, "We say Saskatchewan out here," and I'm like, "Oh God, he never saw the movie."
Well, it's just like when people say Newfoundland, a Newfoundland,
Newfoundland, Newfoundlander, Newfoundland.
Newfoundland.
It's like that island over there. Yes, just stick with that.
Yeah.
Mind you, people at one point in Newfoundland thought I was an Eskimo, but we won't go there. It's still very nice people. We'll leave that.
Yeah, we won't get to that part. We won't get to that part of the show.
No, we won't get to that part of the story, but it made for interesting growing up because my dad would be like, just go with it. And I remember looking at my dad. Yeah.
Yeah. Keep your head down and go with it.
Yeah, for sure. So speaking about your sportscasters, and I am going to work on this. So this is only the fourth time I've said since I brought it up. So I'm sure it's going to happen.
Good.
Who are your favorite sportscasters you idolized growing up, admired, wanted to be like? Who influenced you, and who do you owe a good debt of gratitude for?
My heroes were Bob Cole, Dick Irvin, and Danny Galvin. They were the best.
Danny Galvin, yeah.
Danny Galvin's a fellow Nova Scotian, and I wanted to be Danny Galvin. Bob Cole brought me into the game, no matter what game it was. He turned a 3 into a 9, an 8 into off the charts, and a 10 would make your head explode. And Dick Irvin, for a lot of my nights, was the voice of the Montreal Canadiens, so I love Dick Irvin. Ron McLean came along, and I thought, man, that's one smart dude. He knows his stuff. So, those were my big guys. I was obsessed. I literally used to turn around, to the NBC, the ABC, and the CBS at 6:25 to catch each local segment. Then I do the same with the local CBC and CTV down home. Then I'd watch the sports from CBC PEI on Compass. And I love Dave Van Horn, who did the Expos games. I was a huge Expos fan. My Expos stuff's all around here. There's Andre Dawson right there. So lots of Expos stuff around. And then a lot of guys helped me out along the way. A guy like Kurt Studley, who was in Calgary when I went there early. Doug Vason, who was in Calgary when I went there early. Rob Gibson, who was in Calgary when I went there early. They all got me on my way. And without those guys, I wouldn't be here. Jim Crichton from back in my Halifax days, who was a local broadcaster in Halifax. Lots of people go into helping you out, which is a pretty cool thing. But yeah, I play every year. Except for this stupid COVID, in the Danny Galvin Cystic Fibrosis Golf Tournament in Halifax. And it is so cool to be able to be invited to play in a tournament named for Danny. His son works in the tournament. His granddaughter works in the tournament. Bob Cole plays in that tournament every year. So to get to play in a tournament with Bob Cole, named after Danny Galvin, for a kid like me is just, that's, Kent, when you were talking about, that's when I have my, what am I doing here? Like, when the tournament's over and Dad drives Bob Cole and I back to the hotel, and Coley always gets the front seat. That's when I'm like, oh my God, I'm with, like, to me, Bob Cole and Danny Galvin and Dick Irvin. They were right there with Gretzky and Lafleur, right? They were a part of it. So yeah, so many broadcasters I've enjoyed working with and being fan of over the years. And for me, like, just the fact that Bob Cole still knows my name is weird.
Did you ever get paired up with him in a twosome or foursome?
No, but we usually meet at the bar afterwards.
All right.
So they split the celebrities up, but I would pay to golf with Bob, trust me. But we have some good chats, and it's awesome. Like, his passion for the game, and it so came across in his broadcast because he literally brought you into the rink. He brought you into the rink, and he didn't bore you with stats and numbers. He gave you a story. He saw what was in front of him and made it into a story, and it was just the best. I got all the time in the world for Bob Cole, and Danny did the same, and Dick did the same, and those were my guys for sure.
Dick Irvin had a very his voice was very, very like a particular voice I'll never ever forget.
Very nasally.
Yeah.
But it was awesome. Like it's like that's the thing. When I was a kid, I always thought you need this big booming voice, right, to be a broadcaster. But you just need your own voice. You'll be fine.
You also need a catchphrase. So who is your favorite?
See, I never had a catchphrase. And I don't think you need one. And I think the best ones come out naturally. Like Bob Cole's "Oh Baby" came because he would just say it around the house. Like if one of his daughters gave him a cookie and he really liked it, he'd say, "Oh baby, that's a great cookie." And one night he was doing a game and "Oh Baby" came out, and that's his thing. He didn't sit down and go, "Okay, what am I going to say? What am I going to say?" He'd write down "Oh Baby." Like when I'm around the house, I always the kids, my wife always like, "What are you doing?" My kids will laugh. Remember Keith Jackson? He'd say, "Oh Nelly," and so I just go, "Oh Nelly Furtado." I'm always saying "Oh Nelly Furtado" around the house. One night it's probably going to slip out on air, but yeah, I'm not big on the preordained catchphrases, and that was the one thing Bob was awesome at. Like he didn't sit down and write out what he was going to say if the Oilers won the cup. It just came out of him. So yeah, I guess "Pucks in deep" would be my catchphrase if I had one, because I think it's hilarious. Every 3 out of 4 interviews, you see a guy say, "Oh, I'm just gonna get pucks in deep." So I think that's funny. So maybe that's mine. Well,
it's hard because they don't want to say anything out of character, right? So we got to stick to a script.
Exactly. And if you guys know anything about hockey, and I know you do have to get pucks in deep. So cliches are said because they are true. You do have to get pucks in deep and play a full 60. If you don't get pucks in deep, you're not going to score, and you got to play a full 60, or you will lose.
There was I might have this wrong, but there was a joke, and I want to say Kevin Bieksa and Paul Bissonnette was in on this, where they had to try and say a catchy word during an interview without smiling or laughing.
Oh, guys do that all the time. I used to do when I did my junior A games. We'd always say, "Fit in this word." Like, I mean, it's getting to the point now where I'm gonna, guys would always, see if you can fit this in an intermission interview word, and just for your own humor. Why not? I mean, my buddies will say to me, "Do you think you can say this during the show tonight? Fit in this word?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'll do it. No problem." So if anybody has a word they want me to use, text away and I'll do it. Or tweet away, I guess. I'm not giving everybody my cell phone number.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
No, don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need some sort of privacy.
God, I know. I leave the house. Paparazzi's everywhere.
Oh yeah, you're on the front page everywhere.
Huge. You saw the big crowd in front of my house when you dropped these cards off.
Oh yeah, that was fun. I was like, "What are you doing?" I'm leaving. Bye.
Yeah, my security.
Although at the expo, I will tell you a funny story where you walked by, and I had a guy pull this and goes, "Do you know what that is?" And he whispered, a loud whisper.
Yeah.
Loud whisper, like, and I'm deaf, so I heard it.
Okay.
"Do you know what that is?" And the little kid's like, "I don't know." I was like, "That's Ken Reid." And then everyone around us heard, right? And I'm just looking over, and I'm like, "That dude, why don't you just say it out loud?"
Yeah, he should have just. Why didn't he just say hi to me? And he doesn't bite. Exactly.
So it's a Canadian standoff at that point.
Yeah, the weird stares. And then you're eating your coffee and they're just looking at you like, or you're drinking coffee, just looking at you like this.
Or they just randomly like just hold a book, like maybe he'll recognize me.
Yeah, if I just hold his name.
So we got a couple of questions here. So let me just go back and check that out. 1 second here. Where did we leave off here? So Sanderson or Hawk. Yeah, he's got the Hawk on his wall there. I have a
Gary
ball.
Carter too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I've got a ball, which the Hawk and the Rock sign, which is one of my
beautiful.
That was my treasured pieces. I don't have it here, but I'll bring it out next time.
Yeah.
A good guy, Pete from out west. Any insight on the African Nova Scotia
question?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Nova Scotia history. Sorry, go ahead.
Apparently the Colored Hockey League was just fantastically awesome. I believe it started up in Nova Scotia in early 1900s, 1910. Like tons of talent, because there was a large black population in Nova Scotia, in the Halifax area, North Preston area.
Yeah.
And some fantastic players came out of there. In fact, I believe he was the third black player to play in the NHL. Billy Riley's from Amherst, Nova Scotia. So yeah, a lot of talent in the Colored Hockey League. And I do believe there are some hockey historians who believe that the slap shot was invented in the Color Hockey League back in the day. So there you go.
He thinks 1700. Did you mention 1700?
1700s what? The hockey?
I don't know, Peter Pac-Man, if you can explain what you mean by that one, I'll bring it back up.
Well, they definitely weren't playing hockey in the 1700s. I know that.
And then Dennis asked a question. Do you collect autographs and baseball cards also? I think I'll let you answer that.
Yeah, I do collect baseball cards. Got probably just as many baseball cards as I have hockey cards. By the looks of the background, I definitely do collect autographs. Most of these are from back in the day, though, and they've kind of been moved up to here. Although the Joe Carter one, I play in the Joe Carter Classic every year. Lucky enough to play in that, and they give you the signed thing of everybody in that. Got a lot of pucks up there. Got this Gump Worsley at the Expo not long ago. It was like $10. I'm like, Gump Worsley, I don't have him, so why not? Oilers just scored 4-1. And if something comes my way, I'll collect it for sure. I collect because I enjoy a history of the game. So I enjoy getting just any little nugget that I enjoy as a link to the game. I'll pick it up. But yeah, and I do love baseball cards as well.
Awesome. And Bobby was basically saying the game was called Bandy back then, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, all right. That would have been late 1800s. So I don't.
Yeah, and then Peter is basically saying 1741.
Okay. Then.
Sorry, it's reverse order here. Let me just do it in reverse order. First held in Canada, 1890 for hockey. Here we go.
Okay, there we go.
And then Jeff, we just answered the question about the pucks and display case. And pardon me, guys, a bit distracted because the Oilers went up 4-1, and I was half answering a question and looking at the screen. I'm not as good as Ken at multitasking.
Oh yeah, so the pucks in the display case, they're all Hall of Famers except the Charlestown Chiefs one, that's signed by the Hanson brothers. So they're in my Hall of Fame. So there you go.
So what was so speaking of sports, since you got access to these, you're the celebrity among celebrities. What is your favorite moment in sports so far? Like
in my life?
In your life.
Like my favorite sports moment of all time, 1987 Canada Cup, Gretzky to Lemieux. Mm-hmm. That was a defining moment of my childhood. I remember watching the game with my dad. I just turned 13 years old. And not only that, but it taught me the value of not quitting, right? Because they should have lost that game. They were down 3-0, then they were down 4-2, and they just kept chugging. And also, when I was a kid, I had an appreciation for the history of the game because I knew I wanted to be a sportscaster, so I knew I had to know it. But I also had an appreciation of what was in front of me. Like, I had a lot of friends who would be like, Gretzky sucks. I hate watching him. And I'd say, well, I'm a Montreal fan, but you're an idiot because this is magic. Like, this is something we're not going to see again. So to see Gretzky play with Lemieux, I remember even as a 13-year-old going, okay, this is the first time this happened. It's probably not going to happen a ton because they're not going to play together in the NHL. And the Canada Cup's only every 3 or 4 years.
Right.
So Gretzky to Lemieux, 87 Canada Cup. That was one of the defining moments, not only of my childhood, my life. 88, Ben Johnson. I know they took it away from him, but I'll never ever forget when he ran 9.79. That was just mind-boggling. I swear, my brother and I got in a fight before it, so Dad sent me upstairs to watch it. And you guys can ask my brother. I said, Ben Johnson's going to run 9.79. And I leapt down the steps of my house. I swear I leapt on the middle, and then we were all hugging. And he did run 9.79. Everyone thinks I lie when I tell that story, but why the hell would I make that up?
He's actually still one of my heroes. So
hey, I mean, a lot of people say that, and everybody in that race was on something.
Yeah,
for sure.
So if you go by that, if everybody was on something and he was the fastest, doesn't mean he's still the fastest. So yeah, I got no problem with you saying that, Amit, because everybody was doing it.
It's just that he happened to get caught.
He got caught. He got caught.
He's still on my bucket list of someone I want to meet and get an autograph from one day. He's definitely high on the list.
And you never see him around. I would think if he showed up at the expo to do a signing, I think he'd do pretty well.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't you guys?
There's an idea.
There you go. I should be his agent.
There's your side hustle.
Mm-hmm. No, you got my side hustle right there, the Eddie Shack book and the other 5 books.
Right there.
There you go, buddy.
I just realized something here that you 39 members in this awesome book. So you haven't read this One to Remember. It's an amazing book. 39 members. Incidentally, is that the number of games Gretzky scored to get 50? 39 games?
That is, but that's pure coincidence. That's
That's
pure
interesting.
coincidence. Yeah, but 1539, 5 goals in one night against the Philadelphia Flyers. There you go.
There you go. Go ahead,
You know
Kent.
who he scored the 50th goal against?
No?
Nobody. Empty net.
Oh,
Trick question.
They had pulled Pete Peters. Yeah, they had pulled Pete Peters at that point.
Who assisted on this last goal?
There you go. That's a good one. I don't know. Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you.
Can you imagine being that person?
Be pretty cool.
Yes.
One of my dad's buddies, the great Kevin Morrison, who I probably have something of down here. Kevin played in the WHA. And there's Kevin right there on the wall. He played in the WHA. He was one of those guys who was a WHA All-Star. Probably could have went to the NHL, just stayed in the WHA. Anyway, he ended up playing about 40 games for the Colorado Rockies, and he assisted on Gretzky's first ever pro goal in Indianapolis. So,
Oh, really?
there you go. East Coast connection to the great one.
Oh man, that just sent a shiver down my spine. That's such a cool.
Yeah,
that's a cool moment.
Imagine being able to sit around and say that. Yep. And he told me when Gretzky walked in the room, he said, everyone kind of went, this is the guy that's going to save us and save the league. He's such a skinny little fella. But man, he was awesome.
Go ahead, Kent. Sure. So, Ken, being an on-air anchor, did you always have a broadcaster's voice, or was that something you developed? And was that something you kind of mixed in with your own, emulated of somebody else that you liked?
I don't think I have one now, to be honest.
No, you do. Sure you do.
If I do, it's not intentional. Yeah. So I guess when I started as a sportscaster, you tried to be a sportscaster, and that's a mistake tons of young broadcasters make, is they try to be a broadcaster. The hardest thing to do on camera, because it takes the most confidence and you have to be the most comfortable with yourself, is to be yourself. So I don't know if I have a broadcaster's voice. I wouldn't put my voice up against anybody's voice. I think I have a stupid maritime accent, but I love it, but whatever. So yeah, my voice is my voice. It is what it is. It's probably developed over time because you learn how to not run out of breath on the air and stuff like that, right? But yeah, I never sat there going like this, trying to sound like a broadcaster, like why would I? Because Dan Schulman walks in, I'm like, oh my God, that guy's the voice of God.
Oh my, he does too, man. Oh, totally does.
His pipes are so awesome. So I just say what I say and do what I do, and if people enjoy my voice, I'm very thankful that they do, because I'm related to a lot of people who don't like my voice. So if people enjoy it, I'm flattered by that. Yeah, I don't. The funny thing is I don't think I have a maritime accent, but I'm sure I do, because I've had people tell me I do. But see, I listen to Doug McLean and I go, that's an accent.
Doug McLean, yes.
Yeah. But I don't think I have one. But when I go home, it's funny, if I have a couple pops and I'm hanging out with the boys at home, like
it comes out.
You're supposed to start talking like this. See that? Look at the head on that fella downtown last night. You just start talking like that. So the longer I'm away from home, the least my accent comes out. But as soon as I come home, it comes back out, I think.
How often do you get to go home?
Oh, I haven't been home obviously in a year and a half now, but usually 3-4 times a year. Usually it's pretty good. I always go home for a couple weeks every summer, and then I usually have 3 or 4 events a year that I fly down for an MC, and quick weekend trips, stuff like that.
You still have family down there?
Yep. Dad's in Halifax, mom's in Pictou. Little brother's moving back home soon. He's in Toronto now, but he's going to be moving back. So aunts and uncles, cousins, lots of people down home for sure.
Who are you rooting for in the playoffs this year?
I grew up a huge Montreal Canadiens fan. That's kind of gone away. The more you work in the media and in the game, you tend to root for players you enjoy, or good games, good stories is what most journalists will say. But I mean, I'm like anybody else. I'd love to see Cup come back to Canada eventually. It hasn't happened since '93, but I just want to see good hockey. So I don't really have a root
interest. I believe in '93 was the Habs, wasn't it?
It was the Habs, yeah. I get a kick out of it when people tweet me, right? And they're like, screw you and your Toronto Maple Leafs bias. I'm like, but if you really knew how much of a Leafs fan I'm not, you would never ever say that to me. So yeah, I get a kick out of people saying stuff like that. But no, I mean, I worked in Edmonton on their run to the final. That was amazing. So I would love to see a Cup come back to Canada, but as long as there's good hockey, I'm happy, and good stories, I'm happy.
Well, the Florida Tampa Bay series has been awesome. That's my favorite one.
Oh, it's been wicked. So physical and just nasty. Like, I like hockey that way, right? Some people, oh, look at this, it's awful. Nah, bring it on. I love it, man. So yeah, that Florida Tampa series has been just nasty. The Avs are already through, so you know. But I'd like to see a little more jam in the Montreal Toronto one. It still seems a little calm yet, you know. Like, I don't think they've established that jam just yet. The Tavares thing was just awful, and I suck to see that. Like, that's the stuff I don't want to see, right? Like needless to say, but I just want to see good games, and I want to see passion. Passion is what makes the game great, and that's all I want to see is just passion.
Well, the one series that seems really tame is the Oilers and Jets.
Oh, does it ever?
Yeah.
It's funny. Maybe we think both the Canadian series seem tame because there's no fans, right? Like, those American series.
I didn't think about that. That's a good point.
It's so cool to see. It's so cool to see fans in the stands. Like, here's Cassian and Lowry going at it right now. If that happened with fans in the stands in a playoff game, everybody'd be going crazy. So maybe it's got something to do with that. But we're just getting started. It's a long road, and I just love the playoffs. It's the best, especially the first round, right?
Yeah.
Looks like another East Coaster. I think he's East Coaster. Marchand. Isn't he from East Coast?
Brad Marchand, yeah. Hammond's Plains, Nova Scotia.
Yeah. They just made it through and beat up Washington.
So Obi's gone. No cup for Obi. Eh? 5 games. 5 games. That's crazy. Eh? You wouldn't predict that. And they were, last I saw, the Bruins were being badly outshot tonight, too. So,
I don't know. Obi
Yeah.
was kind of off to me. I don't know about you
did
guys.
he?
Yeah. Didn't like his usual self.
Yeah. You never know with these guys, right? Some of them might be banged up, and then you really just don't know. But, I mean, Edmonton looks like they're having a fun time tonight. They're up 4-1, but I can see Montreal and Toronto going long. I can see Edmonton and Winnipeg going long. So, yeah. And the Hadel build. The Hadel build.
Has anybody know what's going to happen when they play team stateside? Like, what's the deal there?
I still don't think they figured out entirely. I think a lot of that has to do with probably provincial governments as much as anything.
Right.
Healthcare falls on the provinces. So, yeah.
So we're going to get to some fun questions here. So, like I said, this show is all about like diversity and inclusivity and just positivity and just any other ivities I can think of at the moment, obviously.
Sensitivity.
Motivation-tivity. Anyway, motivation. So what advice would you give to others who want to follow in a similar path that you follow?
I've always thought, you know, I listed all those people that helped me along the way. I left out Gino Retta and Jim Houston too. Gino, I wrote letters to a bunch of broadcasters when I was 15 saying, what do I do? Gino wrote me back on Station Head saying, call me at this number. I thought that was the coolest thing. Jim Houston wrote me this beautiful handwritten letter, which I loved. It's still at my dad's house. So I was helped a lot by people. Like, I would not have been here had I not gotten help. So usually when somebody calls me and asks me for advice, I'll give it to them. I'll go speak at schools and talk to students. But here's the catch, is the advice that I'm giving these kids. It's like, when I broke in the business, the advice the guys gave me was go somewhere small, get hands-on experience, work at a small station, work your way up. And when I broke in the business, that's what I did. So I could listen to the advice that these guys gave me because they lived the same way. For me now, if a 18-year-old asks me what to do, I'm like, I don't know, because there are no small stations to work at anymore. The way I broke in the business isn't around anymore.
Right.
So I'm like, start a YouTube channel. Like, I don't know. So I always say, go talk to Steve Dangle. But I'll give them advice as best I can. But the business is very different from what I broke into. So it's kind of strange advising younger broadcasters on how to break into the business. Now, once they show up at Sportsnet or anything like that, I'm cool. They can, I can tell them what actually happens. But in terms of breaking into the business, it is total 180 from what it was when I started. It's just so different.
Actually, Steve Dangle's done pretty well for
incredible. Like, that guy literally invented a new way to do things. Like, he's at I don't even know what you'd call him. I'm on the back of his book because I said something like, this guy literally invented his own path. I think I said, you don't want to call it some guy who's 30, not even 30, a pioneer, but he figured out a new way, and boy, is it working. So.
He's still really young too, so
yeah, he's 30. So yeah, he's kicking butt for sure.
I'm 46, and Kent and I are over the hill when we started this YouTube show for fun.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can make it a year.
Yeah, I'm 21, so I'm good.
You're good.
Yeah.
You're definitely good.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get some. The part I wanted to get to more often than not in any interview we do is, want to do what's out there for you. We want to talk about your books.
Yeah, sure.
So,
Sure.
Kent, go ahead and ask some questions.
So, Ken, you've authored about 6 books, I believe, right now.
Yeah.
3 of which are national bestsellers, I might add.
Cool.
Can you share with us?
The Shaq one just went as well, I've been told.
Okay, there you go. 4. I stand corrected. 4.
Yeah, it's okay. That's okay. I won't hold it against you.
So, what kind of motivated you to write the very first one, which is Hockey Card Stories, True Tales from your favorite players?
Sure. So I'm obsessed with hockey books. I've devoured hockey books ever since I was a kid. My brother and I always wanted to write a hockey book. Question is, what do you write the book on?
Right.
So I mentioned to you guys, I had moved away and a lot of my cards were back at my dad's. But whenever I'd go back home, I'd look at the cards, right? Like I wasn't a hardcore collector when I was 28, but if I'm at dad's, I'm having a couple pops. I'd look at them and I'd laugh because when you're 10 years old, you don't really notice an airbrush and a giant mustache. But when you're 28, you're looking at it going, what the hell is that guy wearing that? And why'd they draw crayon on him? And I'd laugh and whatever. So then I got to Toronto and I get the Sportsnet and I kind of have a platform and I've noticed, blogs and things like this. And I don't know what the hell a blog is, but people are writing about old cards. Right. And I thought, this is awesome. But nobody's talking to the guy on the card. I want to know what the guy on the card was thinking. Like what was going through his mind? Like, why does Joe Daly or my buddy Kevin Morrison here, who I know has hair like this, why does he have a gigantic head of hair on him in 1977? What's going on? So I had this platform at Sportsnet and I was working literally Saturday, Sunday, I think, just weekends, and being paid for a full-time job, but working, crazy hours on the weekends. I might have been working, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I thought, okay, I can't afford a golf membership yet. Still can't. I've always wanted to write a book. Maybe I should write a book on this. And I'll call some guys or I'll do this. And Ian Mendes had written a book with Jamie McLennan, Noodles, which was a really good book. And I talked to Ian and I said, what do you do? He goes, you have to get a literary agent. And I said, what the hell's that? So he told me it's the guy who pitches your idea to publishers. And so I called this guy. He's like, that's a great idea. And he's like, well, you want to sign with me? I'm like, sure. So I signed with him. And I called Joe Daly, who runs a card store in Winnipeg. And I wanted to talk to Joe about one of his cards, which is this great 77 WHA card where he's kind of under a bright light in front of a net with it's all black in the background. He too has a perm at the time. And I knew Joe would know about his card because he's a card dealer. So he laughed and he told me his story and I wrote it up. And my agent called me back. He's like, I think I got a book deal for you. This is like a week later. And I'm, what are you talking about? You got a book deal for me? Like, hell, I talked to one guy. So he got a book deal for me. So I said, well, I guess I better talk to 58 more. So I started going through my old cards, picking out cards, which were easy. They were everywhere. I'm going to talk to this guy. And that's kind of how I came to write it. And the best part about hockey books is you get to talk to old hockey players. And they are always very willing to share their stories with a sense of humor. Because in these books, in the hockey card books at least, you kind of have to have a sense of humor about it. Like if I'm calling about why it's Steve Ludzik on Steve Larmer's rookie card, Steve Ludzik has to have a sense of humor about it. If I'm calling a guy and go, what the hell are you thinking with this giant perm and mustache? He's got to have a sense of humor about it. And they did. It was great. So that's how I ended up writing that first book.
Awesome.
Sorry, went on mute there. So Sid the Kid wrote I just realized this. I've read over this a million times, but Sid actually wrote the intro to the forward to this book. How'd you get him to do that?
I figured that's why you bought the book.
No,
I'd buy it. I'd rather buy it for the Sidney Crosby forward than for my writing.
I bought it for that reason.
Oh, yeah, the autograph. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Sid wrote the forward, so that was awesome of him. He's a real kind, generous fella, super generous with his time, like us. Collected hockey cards as a kid. So, I just asked Sid to do it, and he was more than happy, which was a huge thrill for me. Like Sidney Crosby has his own hockey card story in there about his Mario Lemieux rookie.
Yeah, that's why I read it, and then I'm looking at it while you were talking just now to Kent, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Sidney
I said-
Crosby wrote the forward?
Yeah, and I said, "Did you ever tell Mario that story?" He's like, "No, I haven't yet." I'm like, "You got to tell him that story." So I won't say what the story is because I'll make.
Yeah, no.
That's a good tease. Yeah, Sid's super guy, so he's super nice to write that.
So how do people get your book?
Well, to get my book now, you can get it at Amazon, obviously. Frameworth Marketing has the Eddie Shack book, so frameworth.com. I'm sure a lot of your viewers know that. And there's still autographed copies from Eddie left. Eddie was a beauty to work with. ECWpress.com also has most of my books, ECWpress.com. That's a beautiful book, the Eddie book. Did that with Frameworth. And also your local bookstore. So head to Indigo, head to Chapters, head to Book City. Support your mom and pop bookstore if you can. Look at that autograph. Does that Eddie autograph not just pump beautifully off that page? Like,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That is just amazing.
Yeah, I just love the older generation that take their time with their autograph.
It's gorgeous. By the way, the Oilers blew a 4-1 lead. It's 4-4.
Oh man,
What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Buddy, I can do everything. I got double. I got multitasking here. So yeah, Eddie's autograph was the best. Writing a book with Eddie. The book I want to write is writing a book with Eddie Shack. The story of writing a book with Eddie Shack. Like that was epic. He said stuff that was so offside.
I bet.
Would not go over in this modern world, but he said it publicly, and it did go over in this modern world because he's Eddie Shack, and he could. He was just awesome. Like, oh my God, did he make me laugh?
Yeah. Eddie Shack and I have the same hometown.
Oh, really? You're Sudbury.
I'm a Sudbury boy, yeah.
So that was Eddie's kind of last hurrah, right? Because that Christmas, just after Christmas, he got diagnosed with cancer and he passed. But you talk about a treat to be able to get to know Eddie Shack and share time with him. He was just like, the word beauty in hockey is overused. Eddie was the beauty of all beauties.
You know who else was an awesome person? Was Red Kelly.
Oh, see, here's what I love is Red was a gentleman, right? Like Red was this gentleman, quiet, restrained man. Johnny Bauer was a gentleman, quiet, restrained man. Then there's Eddie, who's just a freaking maniac, knows it and loves it. And his two best friends were Johnny and Red. And like,
really?
Oh yeah, and he'd be like, yeah, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, and they'd be like, will you calm down, Eddie? Will you calm down, Eddie? Like it's almost like a husband-wife relationship with them. Like Eddie'd be like, I'm going out for a couple belts, and then they'd be, doing their thing. So
Red, we had Red was at a show. Red Kelly was at a show one time, and he wanted to talk about the good old days. We talked for almost 2 hours out on the front lawn of this card show.
Wow.
He was just telling me story after story, and I was like, my wife is like, "Are you coming home?" No.
I think nowadays, if there was a player who won 4 Stanley Cups as a center, won 4 Stanley Cups as a defenseman, and was also a member of Parliament for a time during
right. Yes.
Like, that's crazy. Yeah, Red was beautiful. Red had a great book too, also from ECW. If you guys want to check that out,
I actually wrote to Frank Mahovlich actually at the Senate. And I got his autograph through the mail, so that's how I got that.
Oh yeah, Frank was Frank's.
He was another good one.
I ran into Frank at a golf course not long ago. His brother Pete does a lot of golf tournaments with us in the summer. I do a lot of emceeing at golf tournaments, and Pete's usually on the tour. He's a character too.
We've got a couple of questions for you here. Actually, a couple of comments. Facebook users basically saying East Coasters are okay. They're more than okay. Colorado's got a lot of them on their roster. That's true.
Yeah. They're like Team Nova Scotia.
Yeah. Then we have got a question about Ovi catching.
Sorry, that one's from Scott.
What is it?
This is also from Scott as well. Do you think Ovi catches Gretzky?
Oh, okay. This is like something I struggle with. I'm a massive Wayne Gretzky fan. If there was a church, I would ask to be his pope. Like I can't get enough of Wayne Gretzky. Worshipped him as a child. Part of me obviously goes, I don't want him to break the record, right? Because he's Gretzky.
Yeah.
Part of me says it's good for the game if he does. Part of me says, I'm conflicted because in my heart, I don't think he will, but in my mind, yeah, I think he does. The guy just scores at an epic rate, and I think it happens. And when it does happen, it won't be a happy night for me. You know how hockey players are so classy when somebody breaks the record. Like, it's built into them.
Yeah.
Like the Howe family just gave Patrick Marleau the stick Gordy used in his last game in the NHL. I'm like, that is amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, I think he probably will, because I think he's just going to keep on playing and playing. And the guy's a sniper, but it just breaks my heart because I'm such a big Wayne guy, you know.
I remember where I was when he got traded. So
Oh yeah, that was a day. Yeah,
I was very upset for about 2-3 weeks.
They had a news update during The Price is Right. I was watching on Detroit CBS, which we got back home, and Eli Zarrett was the sportscaster, and he gave the news. And I jumped on my Canadian Tire Supercycle and pedaled to the Pictou tennis courts and yelled it out, and everybody, in my mind at least, just stopped and turned around. It was just nuts, man. It was wild.
I can't believe the government were thinking about blocking him from leaving. Like,
it was crazy. Yeah, there was people freaking out in Parliament, and that was crazy. That was a wild day.
So Yannick has a question for you. Have you ever had a speechless moment when you're on live from a guest or an event you're covering?
No, I don't think so. I usually have a lot to say, in case you guys can't tell. So no, never did. No.
We're at the hour mark. Are you okay to go a little longer?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
So we got a question from Hockey Card Investor. I sat with Eddie at a sports celebrity dinner in Summerside, PEI, I'm assuming, a few years ago. He cursed players left and right and never got along with half the ice.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And then we got who's this from, Kent? This from Scott?
I can't tell. Sorry.
So it's basically, I got a page in Eddie's book I actually got a page in Eddie's book with a Shaq memory. Kept it clean, but a lot more colorful language was used by Eddie.
Yeah. What we did was we asked fans to submit their stories, and we put them in the book as well. So I talked to 6-7 former players, like Gretzky. I did an interview with Wayne about Eddie, Bobby Hull, Jack Valaquette, a couple other players about their memories of Eddie, and then we had fans submit their stories as well. Because the thing is, everybody, it seemed, in Toronto, if not Canada, not only knew of Eddie, but had like that Eddie Shaq moment. And I think what makes them so memorable for people is when, and I saw this firsthand, is when people meet Eddie, he knows they want that Eddie Shaq moment, and he gives it to them. Like, he just doesn't sign the puck, and here you go. He gives them, their 30 seconds or 30 minutes of craziness. So he gives them something to remember, which I think is a real skill to have.
That's insane. By the way, it's still 4-4 and a minute left.
There you go.
If Edmonton loses this, anyway, I'm just going to leave it alone.
Ken, did you ever have his Pop Shop Pop?
Oh God, yeah. I love that stuff, man. Yeah, I would love to have his Pop Shop suit. I think.
The suit. Yes, the suit.
I think he told me where it ended up, but I can't recall. But I was heavy into the Pop Shop, man. Yeah. We all were. I still drink it. He thinks it's hilarious now that he thought it was hilarious that they made Pop Shop hard liquor. Like, he thought that was the funniest thing ever. He's like, nah, it's come full circle. Now they're sending me to sign them in the liquor stores. Like, it was just awesome.
Can you imagine? Like, I remember there was the stubby bottles, right? It was a Pop Shop stubby bottles with you have to actually twist the cap off. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I got a nose for value. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
He was a good businessman, man.
Good. He was a fantastic businessman. Like Jack Valaquette said, Eddie may not be able to read and write, but he can count 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. Yeah. Eddie was buying real estate long before that was the cool thing to do. God, he owned half of Barrie, from what I can gather. Yeah, he has condos up there, and Eddie. One thing I learned from that book is just because you can't read and write doesn't mean you can't be a genius. Eddie was one sharp.
That's
cookie.
true.
He knew exactly what he was doing. He played it well.
Who was the general manager in Montreal who couldn't read and write? He was illiterate.
Jacques Demers. Jacques Demers. He was the head coach when they won in '93. Yeah.
Yeah, that's that. When I found out that, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kent. I took over your spots here. I'm gonna stop talking. I do this every show. You'll notice every show, Ken, that you have on YouTube. At some point, I say I'm talking too much. So
you're like me or Mike Hogg, eh?
Yeah, I'm
You
a
know,
Mike Hogg. That's my
it's all right.
catchphrase.
It's all right. It's
Me
all
too.
good.
That's
You have
my
to have a
catchphrase.
co-anchor anyway that understands.
That's right.
So why don't we bust a couple more packs here?
All right. Who's first?
Who wants to go first?
Can you go first?
I'll go.
Yeah, let's Ken go first. Our guest.
91 Bowman. Thanks for the packs, by the way, Meat. I'll open these with the kids. Maybe
No
I'll
worries,
open
you got
one on-
lots of them.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll open one on my Instagram page as well.
there you go.
Hey, another foil one.
Nice.
Patrick, Stevie Y.
Oh, Stevie Y, even better.
From the Miller brothers from Michigan, Kelly Miller. From your Quebec Nordiques, Mike McNeil. Ooh, former Winnipeg Jet, Doug Smale. Hey, speaking of 1539, the man who was net for those 5 goals that night, Pete Peters, who went on to become an Oilers goaltending coach and is a farmer in Alberta. Oh, dude, beauty player, won wherever he went, played forever, ended up with the Manitoba Moose, Mike Keane. Oh, see, in 91, I would have been pumped to get a Matthew Schneider card. He had a great slap shot from the point. Oh, Paul Eisebart. See the Olympian in 98 everybody freaked out about? The master of the block shot, the Dallas Stars commentator Craig Ludwig. Derek Smith. Doug Bodger, super solid. Yuri Herdina. Oh, the beast. The late Brad McCrimmon. Oh, and Alexei Kazatonov. There you go. That's my pack.
Ken, why don't you go next?
Sure. Pat Verbeek.
Little ball of hate.
I don't remember this person. Jay Mazur?
Vancouver Canucks? No.
Yeah.
I've seen him, but I can't tell you much about him.
Rob Sameta.
Oh, yeah. Like, Toronto had so many of those guys.
Yeah.
They came along and thought they're going to be super snipers.
Exactly. Larry Robinson as LA King.
Okay.
Randy Ladouceur.
Ladouceur, great name.
Oh, there you go. Laurie Boschman.
That's our second Laurie Boschman. Maybe he was a double print.
Kel Samuelson.
It's Shell again. Okay, you're getting the same pattern that Amit got last pack.
Let's see here. Dino Cicerelli.
See, there you go. Dino again. You're not telling that story again, Amit.
Nope, I'm gonna leave that one alone. I'm gonna edit the video.
Mike Krushelnyski.
Dino was awesome. He was in my second hockey card book. He talked about the card of him feeding the rhino. Dino was great. And Mike Krushelnyski has one of my favorite stories in my first hockey card book because Mike was traded with Wayne in that trade, right, to the Kings.
That's right, yeah.
So Mike's card in 88-89 is an airbrush King. And it's so cool because he's looking at the date of the trade on the card, kind of like that's the day. So his perspective and take on that trade is pretty cool, too.
Dave Manson.
That was one tough dude.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Andre Rosico.
Got a cup ring.
Andrew Castles.
Hartford Whaler, legend after he left the Habs.
Dave Lowry.
Pie, they call him. Sun's on the ice tonight.
And the last one with the foils. Wayne Gretzky hat trick.
Oh, we got
Oh, nice.
Sweet.
All right, my turn.
You're up.
So we got a foil of Buffalo and the Habs Stanley Cup playoffs.
All righty.
Then we got Patrick Sundstrom.
He was a good player. Remember, he had the pro set era with Stastny in the pro set, right?
Oh, that's true.
That's right,
true.
Yeah.
Right, yes.
Sundstrom, Stastny, Sundstrom.
And I love saying this guy's name growing up. Benoit Hogue.
Yes. He was a good player, man.
Yeah. And then I believe this guy is American. I'm not sure. Pat Flatley.
Yeah, he is American. He is. I think he played on the 84 U.S. Olympic team.
Yeah. Another name I like saying growing up. Stefan Matteau.
He had the big goal for the Rangers there in the playoffs.
And then
94.
I didn't realize this guy played for the Whalers. I only know him as a Penguin. Rob Brown.
Oh, Robbie Brown.
He was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
sniper, man. He's on
Yeah,
the
man.
Oilers broadcast on the radio out in Edmonton now.
Oh, really?
Yep. He's been on those broadcasts for years.
And then we got the Moose.
Never heard of him. Who was that? Mark
Messier.
Messier? Like he's on some Tide ads, maybe? No,
Maybe.
class.
Oh, yeah, he
Yeah.
is. With the Stone Cold.
Those ads are great. I was lucky. I got to spend a day with him for an event. He was super awesome.
Randy Carlisle.
Oh, yeah. The
Another
Norris
big
Trophy
boy.
winner. Norris Trophy winner.
one of my all-time favorite Leafs,
Oh,
Sundin.
Sundin, nice. That's a cool looking card. That's not bad.
Yeah, it's actually really nice.
Yeah.
And actually, one of my all-time favorite players growing up, Peter Nedved.
Oh, see, my favorite Nedved tidbit is that he played for Canada in the '94 Olympics.
Yep.
I thought that was so random.
That's why I loved him, because I'm such a diehard. I love Canada, and I thought it was so cool that he played for us. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was that, and that was a good team. That was the freaking Forsberg stamp team, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Darren Shannon.
Darren Shannon, he does those events with us that I do in the summer. I see Darren every once in a while. Nice dude.
And Dave Christian.
Okay, is he from the Christian family, like the Minnesota Christians?
I am not sure.
Okay.
you mean like
If
the
anybody
Christian,
here knows?
the Christian hockey stick guys? Or
Yeah,
something,
yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah. I
If
think
Bobby is still watching, he'll maybe able to tell us. And then one of my all-time favorites.
Oh,
Bob
no, it's up, dude.
Oh my god! You know how many guys have a Bob Probert story that I run into at these alumni events, and like they, no, I mean in the nicest way. Like he was loved. He was loved.
So we got a couple of questions here, and where's the? I'm not sure what this is in reference to, but I think he's talking about Eddie Shack gave him his roast beef because he was not allowed to eat it. I'm not sure.
That would be Eddie. you want this?
And then let's see. I'm not sure what this is in reference to either. Mazur didn't do much. Just
Your hockey card there.
Yeah, the one I pulled up there.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know this next one. Do that next one. Yeah, I didn't know that stat. Did you, Ken?
Oh my god!
Oh, I didn't know this.
Jesus.
So
I told you everyone's real life interferes with sports.
Yeah, that's really sad.
Oh, yeah.
And then Ken, we have a buddy on for you. It's Neil.
There you go.
Hey, buddy, what's up, Neeler? How are you, bud?
Pucks in deep.
Pucks in deep. Nice. Yeah, I've worked with Neil starting at the NHL Network years ago. So I remember him saying, "Yeah, my brother's into hockey cards." So there you go. And now I'm doing your podcast.
Yes, and I told you to give him a hard time, which you did.
Still do.
I hope so. I do too. He's my brother. I'm not as good as this as he is, so I'm trying. So he can be some pointers.
He's good. He has got the pipes.
Yes.
He's got the voice. Yeah.
And he also has he's had you a couple times on Sportsnet podcast. So anybody watching, check that out.
Yeah, dude. If you like sports books, check out the Sportsnet podcast for sure.
So I want to talk about something a little more serious, because May is Mental Health Month.
Yes.
And we know Ken, I can't remember what it was. I think it was December last year.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Late November, early December. Yeah. That that article came out, and you talked about your struggles with mental health and anxiety. And one of the things that Kent and I want to do on this show is, it's about fun and games and all the excitement in between, but it's also about serious stuff as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Want to make sure you share us the story, so people who are also going through similar things can have the courage to come out and get the help they need.
Yeah, it's such a common thing. I mean, for years I struggle with my mental health, and appreciate you guys giving me the platform. And again, real life interferes with sports. But yeah, for years I was shy, believe it or not, and just no confidence, felt horrible about myself, didn't like myself, bad anxiety, worried about everything. Went on for years and years, and the longer it goes, the worse it gets, right? So when you're 15 and it starts, you can deal with it. Then it keeps getting worse and worse. Then you go to college, have a few beer, you feel good about yourself. But then if you're going up, you're coming down harder, right? So you get into that for years, and you just lose all confidence. And I the way I say it is, I had no confidence. I felt horrible about myself. I didn't like myself, so I'd put on a mask, and I'd go to work every day and I'd smile. Hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm good. I'd put on a mask. The smallest things would set me off the edge. I'd go into a depression. I'd worry about anything. Finally, one day, my wife, this is like when I'm 35, maybe, said, enough. You're coming to me with this stupid worry. Like, I'd worry about just the dumbest things in the world. Like, if I said something wrong on a show, it would just ruin my whole week. And oh my God, am I going to get fired? Blah, 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 blah. And she's like, I can't take this anymore. You got to see somebody. I literally yellow paged the nearest psychologist, went and cure me. And she's like, it doesn't work that way. So for years, I went to therapy, then I got on meds. This was like 10 years ago. And I've spoken openly about this at events and stuff. And then this writer contacted me and you want to do the story? Sure. So I did this story. I'm condensing my story here, obviously.
Sure.
So I did this story in the Star, and the feedback's been fantastic. And the amount of people that don't feel good about themselves and have anxiety and depression is alarming. Back in the day, right, you'd just see an old guy and you'd be like, oh, that's just an old guy. He's always drunk. And like, he's the town drinker, or this guy went off the edge. The reason I think they went off the edge is they never dealt with their mental health, right? And like so many guys, so many older players, you know, they would become drinkers, or guys. Remember when you're kids and you'd see all the old guys who were at the war, at the Legion, just drinking.
Right.
Well, because they never dealt with what they saw and this trauma that they're going through. So I just tried to get ahead of it, and now I'm happier than I've ever been. I take my little medication pill at night. I haven't been to therapy in a while because of the COVID, but I was armed from my doctor with the things that I need to fight. And I still have bad days, but when I have bad days, I'm at least armed with the ability to tackle it rationally. And before it was a lot of irrational thought and thinking this is the end, this is the worst thing that ever happened to me, when it's nothing. And now I look back, and the things that bother me, I can't even really tell you sometimes what they even were, because they're just that meaningless looking back. So, you know, things are much better. I'm much happier. I'm a much better father. I wouldn't have been able to write these books had I not dealt with this, because I would have been paranoid. Oh my God, what is everyone going to think about this writing? Oh my God, I can't do this. Whatever. And it's so strange to have that type of anxiety and worry in a camera facing job where you're putting yourself out there all the time, and being yourself is difficult, but I'm happy with who I am now. I have faults. There's things I'm good at. There's things I'm not good at, but good days, bad days, but mostly good for the most part. And when things do go off the rails, I can at least deal with them to the fact that it just doesn't plummet me into these deep, dark holes that I used to go into. So that's kind of my story.
Does it feel therapeutic to write the books?
The book's fun, just fun. Kind of like you accomplish something. Probably what a painter feels like when they're done. Like sometimes you're painting and it's, oh God, why am I doing this? I'm never going to get to the end. But when you get to the end, you're like, cool. I hear a lot of people that write going, oh, I hate every second of it. I don't know why I do it. And I'm like, well, I didn't hate every second of it. I kind of like it. I really, my favorite part is just talking to the guys in the books, the interviews, right?
Yeah.
That's the fun part for me. The double checking your spelling, and the edits are atrocious, right? Once you pass your final copy in, and they keep coming back with you, like the commas, the semicolons. I don't freaking know that stuff. I can tell a good story, but I don't know semicolons. So I like the process of talking to someone and turning that conversation into a story. I really enjoy it. And I mean, my books aren't. I'm not writing War and Peace. They're not overly researched, right? Like, it's just, my books are me and a dude at a bar having a beer, and you guys are eavesdropping on the conversation. That's purely all I want it to be. So so it's very enjoyable, but maybe therapeutic in a way, because you accomplish something and you feel good about yourself. And when you guys know, like, when you do anything that's good for you, whether it's going for a walk, a run, sitting down, reading a book, it feels good. And so, I guess it is therapeutic in a way. Yeah. Good question, Amit.
I've read all your books, and I'm telling you right now, there's a couple, like, I read a lot of books from Stuart McLean. I've read books from Peter Zosky and other Canadian, authors and personalities, I should say. And they have one thing in common, which is all the books are written from a personal point of view of just talking to a friend. Yeah. So that's what I appreciate about your book. So I love that. My favorite out of all of them is this one.
One Night Only. Yeah. It's the dream, right?
Yeah. It's this one I read 2 or 3 times, and it was actually really well done. And I was like, it's cool because it's written from the perspective, like, you're out on your front lawn, on your front driveway. You got your beat up hockey net and your Titan hockey stick, and you're that guy in the playoffs, get that snipe goal, and you're it's that story, that type of story. Looks like we lost Ken. It's a good shot, though.
Am I back there?
You're back.
It was a perfect.
Cool.
It was a perfect
that
shot.
sucks. I freaking lose you guys just at the point of the program where you're pumping my tires.
Well, I'll say it again because I don't mind saying it. So it was actually really fortunate the way you froze because you had a perfect smile on. I thought you were just like in character, and I'm like,
that's good.
Moving.
No,
he's like Weekend at Bernie's. I think he's done.
Yeah, good movie.
What I was saying was, it reminded me of that time when you're on a driveway. You got your beat up hockey net and your Titan hockey stick, and you're trying to, sure, that's that Stanley Cup winning goal.
Yeah,
and that for these guys, that was it.
That's it, man. That's and I wrote it from the point of respect. It's a book about guys who played a single game in the NHL, and I wanted to know what went into that moment. Was that moment worth it? What came after it, right? Like, was that the peak, or was that just part of the journey? And that's the same thing. One to remember, just an opposite. I guess they'd be cousins. One remembers about the one goal, guys who scored a single goal. And for me, like you're saying, if I was in the driveway, man, I was dreaming of playing one game. For me, one game would be epic.
Yeah.
One of my buddies, Terry Ryan, is a first-round pick of the Habs, and he played 8 games for the Canadians. He played them when he was 18 and 19 years old. And, people have said things about him like, oh, why didn't he make it? And why didn't this happen? He's like, he goes, for a lot of times I said that. But he goes, I got to play for the Montreal freaking Canadiens. So a lot of the guys in the book were kind of like, I wanted more. But now, given the benefit of time, they're like, I made it to the NHL. What I love about One to Remember is the last guy, Frank Beaton, that I talked to. I don't know, Mead, if you have it in front of you, but I think it's the last, it might even be the last paragraph in the book. Just when I was doing this interview with him, I'm like, oh my God, this is the end of the book. So he's saying the interview, and I'm like, this is how the book ends. Like, because this is a story of a guy that who wasn't supposed to play pro. I'll read it to you. And he's saying Fucking, but I'll say effing, right? Because I don't want this to be looped on Twitter. But he says, this is how the book ends. He said, I'm very effing proud that I got to score 1 goal in the National effing Hockey League. They can't take it away from me. It's recorded. They'll never take it away from me. I did it. I scored a goal. And I thought, when he's saying this, I'm like, this is the end of the book. And I like to think that this is exactly how I would feel if I scored a goal in the NHL. So the guys, they got it. Like, that's why I was doing the books. Like, I wasn't doing it to go, oh my God, you only played 1 game. I was doing it to go, you played a game, or you got a goal, right? Like, we all BS about road hockey goals. We got our high school hockey goals, or men's. I got a championship goal in the beer league. Well, Frank Beaton scored in the National effing Hockey League. Yeah. And the reason Frank says it that way is he's from Antigonish. He's a great swearist. He knows how to swear like a good East Coaster. So, you can kind of hear him saying it the way he says it, So I wrote these books from a point of admiration and just want to shed some light on guys who actually did get to live out their dream, which I thought was kind of cool.
Well, you get to put them. I think Neil said this on the podcast, but basically, you got a chance to put these guys in lore now, right? That's part of the their story told.
I hope so. Yeah, it's there. It's recorded. One of the guys in One to Remember, he passed away right before the book was published. So his family contacted me, and they were, pretty happy that their dad got to tell the story, right? Because no one had really followed up on it for 35, 40 years. So that was cool. That was nice to know.
There's when reading some of these books, you come across these guys like Mark Napier. He's around here. He's always at the rink at where the Leafs practice, the
MasterCard. Yeah, because Napes used to work out of that rink. He was the head of the NHL alumni, so that's right where their offices are. He's another guy that does Hockey Day in Canada's with us. He's a guy whose cards I collected, right? 83, 84. I remember he was now with North Stars because Bobby Smith is now with Canadians. And I get to freaking call up Mark Napier. And then we go to Hockey Day in Canada together in Kenora, and he sets me up for 2 goals. Those are the goals I'm talking about, where Frank Beaton's talking about the NHL.
Well, it's funny because I remember my 4-year-old is up against a glass watching people practice. And I'm like, and I did the same thing that when I had that's Mark Napier. But this time I whispered. This time, right? And he's like, and of course he's like, who's Mark Napier?
Did Mark know?
And I'm like, he just did one of these. And I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
that's me,
There-
kid.
there goes my introduction.
Did,
Neil is basically saying you're a fantastic human being. Oops.
Oh, likewise, Neil.
I would agree with that,
Likewise,
yes.
buddy. Likewise,
And,
buddy.
He wrote this as you were telling your story about mental health. Again, I really thank you for talking about that.
You're welcome.
I hope people who are watching the show, and this will be recorded, and if they get the inspiration to, try and better their lives. And
Yeah.
and
Yeah, that's
Canada's-
it's the old cliche again. If it can help one person, why not? So I debated doing it, right? Like I did not want it to come off as woe is me, and it didn't. It didn't. The story was so well written, and
for sure.
And I get some people have reached. I've been, I had a doctor contact me. Said a guy came into his office and had read the article, and I thought, well, that's totally worth it. So that was cool.
Absolutely.
Michael Landsberg also.
Oh man, Michael was the best. Like if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have done that. Right? He started it all, and he was so supportive and reached out to me right when I did it. Emailed me right away. And Michael's a guy I used to work at TSN, and when I saw him there the first time, you're talking about being awestruck earlier, Ken. I was like, oh my God, it's Michael Landsberg, and I thought I got to go talk to Michael, not because of his broadcasting, but what he had done for the mental health. And I went up to him, and he was in his room, and I approached him, and I was like, I just want you to know how brave it is of you to do this and how much it means to me. And I think he might have said something along the lines of, you're the first guy who's ever told me that while I was changing for a show. So, but Michael's awesome. And the Sick Not Weak movement, he's huge on that. And he's helped so many people. So, yeah,
awesome.
It's a beautiful thing what he's done.
Neil wants you to tell more tell more Eddie Shack stories, but I've already kept you for an hour and a half, so I don't want to keep you too much longer.
Well, that's Cardboard Culture After Hours if you want the really good Eddie stories.
There you go. We'll do that.
Yeah.
We have a Name from Indigenous Rookie Cards.
Hey, Name, what's up, buddy? Name's a good dude. He's got an awesome
Yes, collection. He is.
Yes. Yep. We're going to have him on again on June 1st. So we're still trying to figure out how we're going to do it, but I think we have
Name was pumped when we pulled that Everett Sanapa card. I know he'd like that.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, that would be Everett's Bowman rookie card, if I'm not mistaken. Name. He was in the 90 score set the year before.
Oh, was that in your pack?
I'm not sure who pulled the Everett Sanapa. I don't know. It was yours. Amit, your pack. There you go, buddy.
There you go. That's it.
So if I
and a fellow Atlantic Canadian, Amit.
Oh,
New Brunswick. So maybe you don't want to send that to Name.
We're gonna send this. We're gonna send this to Name because this is the card that was shown live with Ken Reid. This is going to Name.
There you go. Sweet.
So I'll put that on one side.
That makes it even less valuable.
They're like, who? So Kent, I've forgotten where we are with the question. So I better, if you know where we are, you better follow in.
Yeah, sure. So Ken, we know you're a husband, father, and family man. What do you do to ensure that your family gets their fair share of quality time with you?
Maintain my current job because I'm right now only working 3 days a week because of the pandemic. They're only allowed so many anchors in the building at once. So usually I work the 10 o'clock show, but now because of COVID, I work Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I did a bonus shift today, but I work Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but do all the shows. So I used to do play-by-play. My dream was always to be a play-by-play guy, and I was telling you guys about Bob Cole, Andy Galvin, Dick Urban. Well, I lasted that in 1999, early 99, and I left Halifax, and I thought I'll eventually get back to it, So I always thought I'd work at an all-sports station and eventually do play-by-play. Here I'm at an all-sports station, and I don't do play-by-play. I'm our anchor. They like me there. I like it there. And one of the reasons I love the job, and one of the reasons I also love it is since becoming a dad, and it's a rarity in our business, and Amit, your brother Neil can attest to this. I know my hours. I know that I'm going to work Monday to Friday, about 7 p.m. till midnight or 1 a.m. I know my hours. Yeah, they're nights, but I know my hours. Whereas a lot of people in our business, the phone rings and they're gone, or they're doing play-by-play and they're on a jet plane, or there's a trade and you got to go. I know my hours, and that is very conducive to being a dad, which is obviously the most important job I have.
Awesome.
Are there any sports stories out there that you think people should learn more about?
Oh God, tons. I mean, that's why I do my books, right? Because they're hopefully ones that people don't know about. I love, like I said, if Wayne Gretzky had a church, I'd beg to be the Pope. And I love my Gretzky books. I've devoured all of them. But most of us know Gretzky stories. I want to know about Kevin Morrison, who assisted on Gretzky's first pro goal.
That's
right?
cool.
Like I want to get. I'm a nerd. I'm a hockey nerd, so I want to get a little deeper, right? So yeah, I want to know. The real nerdy stuff. Yeah, that's what I like.
What was the Gretzky book that was written in the 80s? It has him holding the stick
Kinda
up.
like
On
that. Yeah, is that the one right after he went to the Kings?
I think so. Well, who
Yeah.
wrote that book?
I want to. For some reason, I want to say Rick Riley from Sports Illustrated, but that can't be right. Is it the one where he's on the cover like that in his Kings uniform? Yeah. I had that one. Yeah, I'm not sure who wrote it, but I had it.
I was glued to that book.
Terry Jones wrote an awesome one on him in like '82, and it had this really artistic cover. That was probably the first hockey book I ever read. I really liked that one. Yeah.
Actually, Stephen Brunt's a really good writer too. That guy.
Yeah,
Gretzky's Tears, right? Stevens. Well, again, there's another guy. Like, I walk through work and Stephen Brunt knows my name, and then I write a book and Stephen Brunt's on the back cover praising my work. I'm like, what universe am I living in? How does Stephen Brunt know my name, let alone read anything I write? But Brunt's the best, man. There's a guy that knows of the value of a story and how to craft a story. It's awesome.
Yeah, really, really, really good writer. One of my all-time favorites.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's awesome.
Your sons collect or no?
Yeah, my oldest guy is into it. Like, not hardcore, but probably like most 8-year-olds do. You know, some days he's fascinated by it. Other days he doesn't care. But he's got his shoebox under his bed. You know, he's excited. He's spoiled. He has a lot more cards than I ever had when I was 8, and a way better collection than I had when I was 8. A buddy of mine just sent him a bunch of his old cards from the 60s and 70s, and I'm telling Jacoby, I'm like, that's a Gordie Howe, that's a Bobby Orr. Your collection's better than your dad's. But he loves it. He loves the goalies. So, yeah, and he loves his baseball cards now. He's into baseball this time of year. But, yeah, he's into it probably more than any other. Not more, but just as much as an 8-year-old can be, right? He knows not to put them in elastics. He's smart that way.
That's good, because I used to do that when I was younger. That was a big.
Yes, as did I.
By the way, that book was written by Rick Riley.
Rick Riley. Was I right? Did I say Rick Riley?
Yeah, you said it. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where that came from in here, but it was there.
You have way better knowledge of this stuff than I'll ever.
If you want to get me going on knowledge, start asking me about the original Degrassi Junior High. Your mind will be blown. That's my wheelhouse.
We'll save that for another show, buddy.
That's my wheelhouse.
Does your son have a favorite player?
Hockey wise, yeah, it's Freddie Anderson. I think it varies from day to day. Baseball, he's big into Jose Bautista and Vladdy Guerrero, but he likes Freddie Anderson. He likes Sidney Crosby too, and I'm trying to turn him into a Colby Armstrong fan. I keep showing him old clips of Colby just pulverizing guys, so I'm trying to turn him into an Arm Dog
fan. How old is he?
He's 8.
He's 8. Yeah, so my oldest is 8 as well.
Okay, so is yours a player or mine's a goalie? Is yours out or in?
Mine is starting to want to be a goalie. He didn't want anything to do with being a goalie.
They all want to be goalies. I had to buy the gear and stuff, and then COVID came. So, but we got out on the ice quite a bit this year. But I think not the great thing, but if you're going to take a positive out of anything, so many more kids and adults too played outdoor pond hockey this winter, right? Just the way it should be.
Yes.
That's why you should be playing, just for fun. Yeah. No, not everyone's going to make the NHL, so you might as well enjoy the journey.
Now I miss coaching hockey, which we'll do next year. That'll be
yelling pucks in deep the whole practice. Here we go now. Let's go.
Can you do a whole cliche?
Go ahead.
Would you do Go ahead, Kent. Go ahead.
I was just going to add on to what Ken said. I just love playing shinny on a pond, man.
Ah, the best.
Yeah.
It's like Brunt. I think this was another Bruntism, but it's like, or maybe this was a Ronism, I think. But this was Ron. I think Ron said it one day this year. It's freedom.
Yes.
You know, you just hit that ice, outdoor ice, and it's just, feels so good. It's freedom.
It's just, you just smile, right?
You can't not. Winnipeg just won in overtime. Think of that.
Wow.
The Oilers had the dreaded 4-1 Toronto Maple Leafs playoff lead and just lost 5-4 in overtime. Wow.
So just so you're aware, my feed just updated, and I just saw it.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's stunning.
I cannot believe that. Anyways, let's not even go there.
That is
Actually,
punch in the gut territory. Yeah. Oh my God! And I think it was Nikolai Ehlers who scored the winner, and that would be his first game back.
Yeah, he's happy.
This
he's
stuff,
definitely happy.
This stuff writes itself. See how easy my job is?
Yeah. What cool? Do you get a lot of memorabilia?
No, not through work. No, I get the odd thing here and there, but most of the stuff you see down here was some of it was picked up years ago. That was a Christmas present from Dad. The pucks are from all kinds of different eras. But yeah, no, I don't go in the shop and there's 58 signed pucks or anything like that. No, unfortunately.
Yeah, you have to keep it professional.
Yes, you do. Like people ask me that all the time, but you do have to keep it professional. Absolutely.
Do you have a couple of favorite pieces of memorabilia?
Well, my Gretzky rookie for sure.
Yes.
What else is around here? I like stuff like this, right? Hold on. My Guy Lafleur record.
Oh, no kidding.
Right?
Wow.
Disco record. That's not going to set you back more than $30. And I just kind of whatever pops up. But,
sure.
I'll show you one piece I really like. Let me unplug you here. I think this will work. Oops. Did I just lose you? No,
you're still there.
Okay. So this is like when I was 11 years old, I met Gretzky.
Wow. That is cool.
Got that framed up. So that was the media guide. And my wife was nice enough when I worked in Edmonton. Gary Carter managed a team called Orange County in the Northern League.
Yeah.
So again, keep it professional. My wife had bought me a Gary Carter jersey the previous Christmas. So I interviewed him on a Tuesday and whatever. So she went back the next day and got Gary Carter to sign the jersey.
Oh, no way.
So that's signed by Gary Carter, which is
That's
pretty
awesome.
cool. Because Gary was my guy, and there's me and Tim Raines at a softball tournament. So stuff like that. But I mean, I like to collect old helmets and things like that that I get a good kick out of, and the odd old puck and things like that I see. But a lot of the stuff is just from when I was a kid. Or
weren't you wearing an old Jaffa helmet there, dude?
Oh yeah, I got helmets all over the place and things like that. So yeah, my wife actually found me a new Jaffa helmet just the other day out in Prince Edward County. A friend of hers bought an antique shop and it had a Jaffa helmet in. So he's like, "Get this to Kenny." So I thought that's freaking awesome because I love me my Jaffa. So there you go. That's my little man room tour.
Thank you, sir.
We've kept you for so long, and I really appreciate this. Like, I'm sure after a long days of work, the last thing I do is get in front of a camera again. So.
No, I don't mind. Yeah, I do have to rewind and see that goal, though. And I'll do that on my Rogers Ignite TV. Okay, let's open one more pack here. I'll open one more pack.
Open one more pack. And while you're doing that, who's the better dresser, you or Ivanka?
Yeah, you're off, Mac.
God, me. No doubt about that.
Ah, good answer.
That was the dumbest question I had this whole podcast.
There you go.
Okay. First
my favorite question. Go ahead. You go ahead.
No, the foil.
Nice.
Checklist. Hey, the decoy on my all-time favorite goal, Gretzky Lemieux, the 87 Canada Cup, the decoy on the 3-on-1 Larry Murphy.
Poor guy got really bleeped on in Toronto.
One of my all-time favorite humans. I mentioned I do a lot of emceeing.
Yeah.
This guy is always on the tour with us. We do golf tournaments. We do hockey tournaments across Canada for Heart and Stroke.
Right.
We do the Dale Howard-Chuck, God Rest His Soul tournament together all the time. This is one of the best people I've ever met in my life. He's a beautiful guy. That's Al Iafredi. Big Al.
Oh, no way. Big Al.
They all know him from Slapshot.
Yeah.
You should all know how sweet of a guy he is. It's a beauty.
My favorite Leaf. One of my favorite Leafs.
Bruce Driver. You got Trache earlier, so of course I had to get Bellows. It's only natural. If you know what I'm talking about, you know. If you don't know, YouTube it. Peter Sidorkowicz. He had so many cards in like 1991. Good to see him with his shirt on. In Hockey Card Stories 2, we do a story about his tarp being off on a card.
Yeah.
The big man, Troy Millette. We talked about him earlier, being traded in the now with Canadians, and from now with North Stars, Keith Acton, Mark Napier deal for Bobby Smith, North Sydney, Nova Scotia. Super tough, Mike Huff. The man who injured Gretzky in the 91 Canada Cup, Gary Suter, not to be forgiven. Current Pittsburgh Penguins broadcaster, Bob Airy, one of the greats. Who was on that 87 Canada Cup losing team? Vasiliev, Fedosov. Oh, playoff hero. With the post, see, the best thing about the Stanley Cup playoff, boys, when heroes emerge, John Druce.
Now there's a name, John Druce.
Snipe 12 ones. Yeah. Snipe 12. Love it. That was a great pack.
Oh yeah, that was a good pack. And while we're gonna, Kent, you're gonna go you're next, but they're gonna leave you with one last question for you, Ken, which is I want you to think about it. Want to think about what motivates you, what inspires you, what motivates you.
Just to be kind and just treat people nice and to be treated well. I guess that's motivation for me. Every day I wake up and I'm like, okay, how can I just have a good day and make people smile and make myself smile, keep my kids happy. I guess my ultimate motivation is to keep my kids happy. If my kids happy and my wife are happy, I'm happy. So I guess that's what motivates me. And
awesome. And
it comes out in just trying to be nice to people. I think it's important. And remember, if you run into somebody and you think they're shitty or they're treating you like garbage, well, maybe they are, but maybe they're just having a bad day.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe something went wrong at their wherever they're from or they're working. But just try to just be nice to people. Like all this stuff we go through, boys, in the world now with everybody. Everybody's a lot of people say crazy stuff. To me, it all comes down to let's just be nice to one another.
For sure. You know? For sure.
Absolutely.
And it takes fewer muscles to smile than it does to frown. So I've been told. So think about that.
Well, smiles are contagious, right? So.
They are, and so are sneezes.
That's true.
That's true. That is very true.
I always say that smiles are contagious. I did that to my little guy, my little 6-year-old the other day. I said, I bet if I smile, you'll smile. And he did. I said, they're contagious. There you go. Yeah, it's very true.
Next time your son is upset, look him in the eye, and I do this with my boys, and just say, don't smile, don't smile, don't smile. And I dare you not to just keep saying it, and he'll smile.
I bet he will. That's a good one. Well, my young guy's pretty moody. I'll try that on him.
Yeah. It'll work every time. Then they get mad at you.
Yeah.
Like, don't do that.
Oh, I'm definitely
I'll show you my pack.
Okay, let's do it.
I got a foil Stanley Cup Finals.
Something tells me these foil aren't as rare as we thought they may have been.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Next time I'll get a tin of the cup. Maybe.
Yeah, imagine
now we're talking.
Kit Miller.
Oh, yeah, the famous Miller brothers. No, he's a different Miller brother. Right?
František Musil, another name I love saying.
That's a toughie. Eh? I'm glad he's not playing anymore.
And 1.5 of the Mullins. Brian Mullins.
Okay, yeah, right.
And then Martin Gelina.
Oh, the eliminator for the 2004 Flames.
He was on the Flames at one point, wasn't he?
Every series they won in 2004, he had the winning goal, and in Game 6, the controversial puck across the line that didn't count, it was his shot.
Right.
And then David Shaw.
I loved how the Rangers had David Shaw and Brad Shaw, just like a very basic WWF jobber. The Shaw brothers.
Mark Recchi.
Oh, beautiful player.
Yeah. Oh, this guy was a gem. Really nice guy. Dale Howarchuk.
You know
really
what?
Nice guy.
Yes.
It's funny. You asked me one of my favorite pieces of memorabilia, and the puck's up there.
Oh, nice.
I'll show you one of my favorite pieces right here, and it's got to do with Dale. And Dale was just a beautiful guy. So I got to know Dale from emceeing events over years and from doing his golf tournament. And I always called Dale Dr. Hook. And he'd say, what do you call me Dr. Hook for? I'm like, Gretzky to Lemieux, man. It's not a 3-on-1 if you just don't hook that guy at center ice and it creates a 3-on-1. He goes, oh, that'd have been like a 5-game suspension now. So I saw this puck, this 87 Canada Cup puck at an expo. And I go, oh, my God, this is awesome. And I like the next event I did with Dale. I think I emceed his tournament maybe 3 weeks after the May Expo. And I go, Dale, you got to sign this puck for me. He goes, no problem. And he puts Dale Howardchuk, Dr. Hook.
Dr. Hook.
Oh, awesome.
So you got to sign it, Dr. Hookdale. And he'd always have his heater. Way to go, Reader. And Dale was such a beautiful man. It's so sad we lost him. And like I can't really explain to you guys how awesome a fellow he was. And I did meet him when I was a kid. We went up to Montreal for a game, and we just so happened to be staying in the same hotel as the Buffalo Sabres. And he made an impression on me then, just signing a card for me. And then to get to know him, he was like the kindest guy you'd ever want to meet. And he loved the game. And he loved telling stories and sitting around and talking to the boys. And that's why we all showed up for his golf tournament year after year. And like, I remember Dale coming to, like, he's on those he used to be on those hockey tours we were on as well. And one day our last game, we were leaving Newfoundland. These guys come in with 24 lobster from him. These fishermen, because he played the weekend with them, and like, he's the best guy. I'm like, he is the best guy. So we missed Dale. I'm glad you got his card, and he gave me a chance to show this.
So Randy Wood, and I believe his son is playing right now.
It's the wood that makes it good. Is he the dad of Miles?
I think so.
I always say Miles Wood is the best name in hockey.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there's a player who used to play for, I think it was a Dallas draft pick, Maxime Fortunas.
Yes, that's right.
Wow,
that is an awesome name. Yes.
That is a good one.
Bob Essenza was around forever.
Yeah. He had great cards, eh?
And here's one for you. He was a good player.
Eric Desjardins.
Yeah.
Very underrated defenseman.
I would agree with that.
I heard like he was a beast when he was with the Flyers. The boys.
Ray Shepherd,
yeah.
And I remember this guy as more of a Blackhawk, but I think he was a Black or a King. I can't remember. Steve Bozick.
Oh, Bozick.
Okay, yeah. I don't remember him as a King.
Maybe he was a King. I could be wrong. And then here's a name I used to love saying growing up. Tom Chorsky.
Tom Chorsky. Yeah, he was a solid player for the Habs. He wasn't bad at all.
So, Kent, you're up last, and then when you end up your pack, we'll end the show. And you just hang out for a second, Ken, and then we'll wrap up, and I'll say good.
Is that when the guys give me the money order for the interview time?
Hold on, I gotta pay my dues. 1 sec. Go ahead, Kent.
Gerard Gallant.
Turk. There you go.
Yes. Stefan Moran.
Always good for a broadcaster when the player's name rhymes. Makes it easy.
Trevor Linden.
Oh, yeah. Can't go wrong with him.
Nope. Mike Ridley. Remember Mike?
I don't got much on Ridley.
Oh. Dave Poulin.
Poulin. Yeah.
He's on
TSN. Yeah, he's doing a great job over there.
That's right, yeah. Jeff Norton.
Jeff Norton. Not a lot comes to mind with Jeff Norton.
No. Jimmy Waite.
Oh, did everyone not think he was going to be the man after he came out of the World Juniors?
Yeah.
I know I did.
Totally. Frank Pietrangelo.
Great name for a goalie, by the way. Another, like, the Penguins had quite a few goalies aside from Barrasso in that era.
They did. Dave Hannon.
Another Leaf, Dave Hannon.
Yeah.
Dave Hansen would have been cool.
Yeah. Scott Stevens. As
a blue. There you go.
By the way, Draisaitl looks so impressed right now.
Oh, yeah. They're psyched to be talking to the media. You guys don't know, like, these are all, I believe, on FaceTime or whatever. But it can be so awkward, these podium ones, because when you know a guy doesn't want to talk, but you're like, got to get something out of you.
Yeah, yeah.
Chris Terreri.
Saved Terreri. Providence College, Chris Terreri. And then came Martin.
Mikhail Bavanka.
Underrated goal scorer and also connoisseur of the Gretzky Jofa.
That's right.
Yeah. Yes.
And I ended on a horizontal Stevie Y.
Those horizontal cards are nice.
Yeah.
Once sold a Steve Yzerman rookie for $2. That's a hobby regret. Remember doing that back in the early days.
Oh, wow.
That one got away from me.
It's okay. We all have those.
Yeah.
We do.
We do.
I sold a PSA 8 Gretzky right before COVID. So think about what that's worth now.
Yeah. I don't want to personally. I don't really want to think about that. No.
And I'm going to assume it was Opeachy and not Tops.
You are correct, sir.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like, thinking about that. It's like thinking about the girl you wanted to date in high school, right? And never got kind of asking her out. That just doesn't happen. It's not there. It's not going to do it.
No, exactly. It's not going to help you. Move on.
No.
Be happy it's a new day.
So Doug Laurie Sports, this is a boy from Barrie. So he just turned in. Sorry, buddy. You came a bit late. We can watch
What's
this
up,
on
Snoop Doggy Doug?
Just have to watch the replay.
Watch the replay. And Kip Miller apparently won the Hobie Baker. Did not know that.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, Hobie Baker.
And I'm not sure what Big Robin Snake is.
Robin Big Snake. He was a tough guy in the WHL.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Ken, I want to thank you so much for taking the time. We took 2 hours of your day. Usually we try to go an hour, but we kept having fun, so we kept going.
Well, my wife would have made me do a chore or something. That's all good.
There you go.
Well, my chores aren't done yet. So
yeah.
And it's an early evening yet.
Well, I'm going to rewind this Oilers game and watch the last 10 minutes of that.
Yeah,
and then watch post-game coverage on Sportsnet Central.
There you go.
On Sportsnet.
There you go. And then everyone who's on here watching still and those who are going to watch later, please buy all 6 copies of all the books that Ken has written.
Yep.
They're amazing. I am not kidding. I wouldn't recommend a book unless I really liked it.
Thank you.
So there's this one.
Danny.
This one. This is my favorite one. Actually, no, sorry. My other one's a favorite.
Yeah.
Keep going.
You can have more than one favorite. It's cool.
I like this favorite too.
Keep going.
Yeah.
And,
I like the picture of Dennis and I in the back of his book. You notice that we got the dog faces on for the hockey picture on the back cover sleeve.
Which one?
Can you show it there?
That Dennis MARUK, we got like the hockey face on. That was in one of the tournaments we do at the charity tournaments we do with Al and used to do with Dale. And those tournaments are for Heart and Stroke. Those tournaments are for Easter Seals in the Ontario region. So yeah, if you guys are hockey fans and you want great access to ex-players and learn some stories, come out to the Easter Seals tournaments around Ontario. Easter Seals is a fantastic cause, and they need some help right now. It's been a tough year for Easter Seals. So, yeah, I mean, in the MARUK book, in the back page, there's a picture of me and Dennis, inside cover back, just showing off our hockey face. Back page, cover sleeve. Yeah, you should be there looking tough.
You know what? I have the advanced reading copy. That's probably why.
You didn't pay for it.
Hold on, I don't know where it is. It's in there somewhere.
Yeah, it's in there somewhere.
I'll get Neil to sort me out on that one.
You get Neil to pick up a freebie. Be all good.
But I bought the other one, and I'll be buying the other ones again.
Sweet, buddy. I appreciate it.
You hang out for a second and say goodbye to everyone. Thanks for you for joining. For all those who did on Facebook and YouTube. This Tuesday we won't have a show coming up. We're probably going to do it on Wednesday, but
because I screwed everything up.
Oh no, this is good.
No, it wasn't you.
This is perfect. It was in fact that this was unscripted, and we pulled it off without a practice session. Is actually pretty good. I'm surprised.
Hey, the great Dutch Mason, the Prime Minister of the Blues in Canada, he said somebody asked me if I rehearsed. He goes, the only thing I ever rehearsed was my wedding, and it all went bad. So just roll with it, baby.
That's awesome. I have to remember that one.
That's a good line.
Everybody, have a good night.
Enjoy your Canada tomorrow. Or no, Friday. Sorry.
Pucks in deep. Yes.
Yes.